Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no-interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
At Life's a Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach. Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast, Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand, every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's a Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot more.
Tom Brady, welcome to Tampa. Go Bucs!
Realizing my potential has been what my career has been all about. Things that I've dreamed about have actually come true.
And the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Unbelievable.
Things have happened in my life as I kind of hoped they would happen. It's been, just a complete evolution. You know, how I just kept kind of fighting and clawing to continue to power forward. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you keep trying to make progress. So when I look at over 20 years, I look how far I've come. But there's not one step that I took where I realized, look how far I've come. But those series of steps that I put together, I go, wow, that's quite a journey.
You're now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television, live here nightly on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays on Bucs Report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And as we always do here on the web, bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have the legend himself, former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Mr. Leo Haggerty, on with us about 9:05. Then we will have Joshua Cole Allen, our newest writer on Bucs Report, at 9:45. We'll have Mr. Buzz in the building, more Buzz in the Charlotte Hornets, Mr. Rick Brown at 10 o'clock. And then at 10:15, my long-lost buddy, where have you been all my life, Mr. Nick Sitro, our Bucs Report analyst, breaking down all things Bucs and, of course, taking your phone calls. We won't open it up now, but I'll just give out the phone number, get you guys ready, get you guys salivated. Are you guys ready for Friday night? Are you ready for the Sports Web? 727-266-5851, 727-266-5851. Of course, being live right now on Facebook. Join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook. Of course, like and follow on Twitter and YouTube and everything else like that. Tell your friends that there is a sports talk show. What is it? Is it a TV show? Is it a radio show? We call it the evolution of sports talk television. So without further ado, let's get him on. Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. Welcome to the Sports Web, my friend. How you doing tonight?
Another day in paradise with Peter Blake.
That's it. Absolutely. And you were in on that Bruce Arians press conference, the Zoom conference, asked him really good questions. First and foremost, what did you take out of it? And then we'll go out to some of the questions that you asked.
Well, Bruce was a little perturbed to start with, not with the question, but with what was happening with the protests. And again, people have to understand that, Bruce Arians played at Virginia Tech. He was the first white athlete to have a black roommate. And guess who his roommate was, Peter? Rondé Barber's dad. So, he's got some Buccaneer pedigree there to start with. He was a little upset about that as to what went down, and as everybody was. I mean, George Floyd shouldn't have lost his life. I mean, I don't think there's about that. But he went from there and talked about, the trials and tribulations of trying to work away from the facility, which was just opened up today to coaches, and the players can't even get into training camp. So it's going to be a long, long summer.
Well, I'm going to go out to the question that you asked about the running game. I thought the response was interesting. So let me put you in the lobby here. We'll go out to that question. We'll come back and we'll talk about it here on the evolution of sports talk television. Here we go.
The biggest thing was with all those turnovers is that we were usually playing from behind and spotting people 10 or 14 points. And as a play caller, I know the feeling of when you're down 14 in the first quarter is like, we got to catch up. So sometimes you abandon it. I think at times we ran the ball really, really well in November and December when we wanted to. We just didn't do it enough. And to be able to play even ball games or with the lead, I think that helps your running game more than anything. I think as adding Rob as a blocker, our tight ends got better as blockers. Our group got better. Rojo got better. So I think they're just seeing themselves do it. When we finally get to watch it together and see what we made mistake-wise and what we did well-wise last year, will help us a bunch in that area.
All right, welcome back to the evolution of sports talk television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the legend himself, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Mr. Leo Haggerty. You asked him about the running game, could it improve? And he basically said it in so many words, we got to stop playing from behind. We got to stop turning over the ball. With that response, do you feel like this organization and Arians is happy with this running game, or do you think there's a possibility for them to add somebody as a veteran, say, I don't know, a Devontae Freeman?
I think they're okay with it now, Peter. And again, read into what he said, that as a play caller, sometimes you try to catch up quick. And remember, he wasn't the play caller last year. And I think maybe he was intimating, semi-SAT word,
Very nice,
that maybe the play caller panicked a little bit when they got behind. And remember, this team got behind almost inexplicably every game.
Wow.
Either 3, 7, or 10, and sometimes 14 points, and managed to come back. Again, the fact that they didn't run the ball well was they didn't have the lead. And when you have the lead, it becomes a whole different animal. Now, whether they can do it with the lead remains to be seen. But I would like to see that team go into the fourth quarter with a 10-point lead and try to salt it away with the run. Now, with that being said, I'm listening to media members talk about how, Tom Brady, 40, 41 touchdown pass. No, not happening. Not even close. Only because this team will not be playing from behind too often. And when that happens, you're running the ball. That's the thing. You got to try to ice that game. You try to ice it on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Ronald Jones, 724 rushing yards last year, but to me, really didn't get the volume, okay? When he did get the volume, and that was like the last game of the year versus the Falcons, he was able to rush for 100 yards. And then on top of it, you spend a third-round pick. Now, he was asked about Devontae Freeman, and basically he said in so many words, the guy's got to lower his price down. Do you think that he's just talking, or could there be legitimate interest in Freeman? Because it certainly seems like if you have a Jones who general manager Jason Light has come out and said, I have a lot of faith in him, and then you draft a guy in the third round, and then on not only that, you draft a seventh round player in Calais, it seems like they'd be happy. But Arians didn't kill that. He didn't kill that fire. He basically said if Freeman would lower his price because he wants too much money, who knows? So, and then Devontae Freeman comes out today and goes, well, I hear in Bucs media, this is going on. If they want to negotiate, they will negotiate with me. First and foremost, do you think there has been any negotiations between the Bucs and Freeman? And do you think that they could go with Freeman if he will lower his price?
Well, Peter, I think there's definitely negotiations. I mean, this is a team that got Tom Brady, so they'll negotiate with anybody.
Right.
And again, it's a matter of money. What I get a charge out of is listening to some people say, well, he could come in, he could, be a vital part. This is all about the Benjamins. Trust me, when you get to the last contract, you want as much money as you can get. It's not going to play in the fact that, okay, this playing with Tom Brady, playing in this offense. No, it's all about the Benjamins. I think Freeman's price is a little too high right now, but let's see what happens in the next month. Because again, players can't report till July, till training camp, and that's July 21st.
Yeah, that's what he definitely confirmed. We'll get back to that, his comment in a moment. We're on with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former coach scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions. I thought I would never hear you say it's all about the Benjamins, but I've heard it all. I've seen it all at this point. He also comes out and says in his presser, 12 personnel is going to be the official offense. Basically explain that to everybody out there who doesn't understand 12 personnel and what's the effect on Chris Godwin in his production coming into 2020.
Well, again, Peter, I take that with a grain of salt because they run a multitudinous of offenses. And again, you can't really box yourself in and say, okay, this is going to be, our package. Now, what they want to do is they want to go 2 and 3 tight ends on first down because now you have Gronk, you got Howard, you got Brate in the game, and you line up in 3 tight ends. That's going to force the defense to play a base 4-3. Now, if you shift out of there and make all those 3 tight ends wide receivers, who's covering who? You're going to have a cornerback on somebody, and then you're going to either have a safety or a linebacker on one of those 3. I'll tell you what, Brady will definitely exploit that. So again, they're going to go week to week and see. Yeah, it's the 12 package is nice to have. You're talking 2 wide receivers, you're talking tight end, and that's all well and good. The 21 package, the 12 package, 1 wide receiver, 2 tight ends. That's again something you have, but I wouldn't definitely bet the farm that that's what's going to happen all the time.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to come out and say his offense, but I do think a lot of people assume with Gronkowski being added that they want to run double tight ends with Gronkowski, Howard, or Brate. He even mentioned 13 personnel, so it certainly seems like he wants to run something along the lines of 3 tight ends because of the mismatch nightmare. A couple of those guys necessarily can't block, but they can definitely catch, and they can definitely be a mismatch because they are so tall. And when you get them in that red zone, who's going to cover them? I don't understand why the Bucs haven't done that a little bit more, but it certainly seems like Arians wants to go in that direction, especially in the red zone at the goal line, right?
Well, yeah, Peter, and there's 2 things you can't coach. You can't coach speed, you can't coach size. And I can remember, and I'm going to go back to Keyshawn Johnson, way back with the Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. And everybody, the media would say, well, he doesn't separate. He doesn't separate. When you're 6'4" and the defensive back is 5'10", as soon as you turn around, you have separated by 6 inches. And that's all Tom Brady's going to need with these basketball-sized receivers he's got. And now, Peter, one thing people need to realize, Gronk is not going to be an every down tight end. They're going to have to pick and choose their spots with him because he's not going to be able to go 50, 60 plays for 16 games. It's just not in the cards. I think they're going to pick their spots. They're going to definitely take advantage of him in the red zone. There's no doubt about it. And he's probably going to be in a lot of third down packages. Don't be surprised to see him as the H-back in a third down package because now you can move him side to side. And again, when you watch the Patriots, what they did is they would come out in an empty backfield, and then they would bring the back from the wide receiver spot back in, and all Brady would do is look and say, okay, if somebody's running with him, it's man. If somebody isn't, it's zone. So, yeah, again, Brady's the master of the pre-snap read, and that's one thing that's going to be a big advantage.
Should we think that O.J. Howard or Cameron Brate could have a breakout year, especially a Howard, because of what you just said about Gronk? He missed a year. He's been off injured the last couple years. So it gives a guy like a Howard who, look, at any given Sunday, if this guy could just put it together, he could be like a Gronk, but he hasn't been able to do it yet. He has to work on his blocking better. And, of course, he has to get more separation. Could you see a Howard or a Brate having a breakout year for this offense because of Brady and because of what you just said about Gronk seeing less time on the offense?
You know what, Peter? It all depends on what you consider to be a breakout year. There's one football, and there's 5 guys that can really get the football. Right. I mean, you're talking about Godwin, you're talking about Evans, the 3 tight ends. So, again, you may see an empty formation with 3 tight ends and 2 wideouts. I mean, how are you going to cover that? So, again, it's a defensive nightmare if the Bucs come out in different formation. Look for that first game against New Orleans to be a game where they showed maybe 10, 12, maybe 15 different formations just to force people to prepare for it. And again, you have a finite amount of practice time. The key is make somebody prepare for something you're not even going to use.
Absolutely. We're on with Leo Haggerty, former coach scout and now media member of 9 Sports Productions, It's Sports Mag, on the evolution of sports talk television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. He also talked about 4 wide receivers, which, made me mention a couple days ago with Brady throwing to the slot. A lot of people assume that Godwin's going to have a breakout year, but it could also be Tyler Johnson. And then if you're running those 4 wide receivers, you have Godwin, Evans, Johnson, and possibly Miller or Watson, or do they shift a tight end like a Howard or a Brady in that 4th wide receiver spot?
Oh, I think you definitely put a tight end in there.
Okay.
Again, what's the difference between O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, and Rob Gronkowski other than a TE or a WR? I mean, they've got the same skills as a wideout. And again, they're going to get the 4th best cover guy, which is going to be extremely, again, the key is Brady finding where the matchup is. And the receivers realizing that he's going to change the play or he's going to change the protection. He's going to change the route scheme by what he's seeing out there.
All right, I'll tell you what, let's go out to this exclusive audio because what happened during the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Zoom conference, they actually ended it. But my buddy here, Leo Haggerty, decided to ask a question, and we got the audio here on the evolution of sports talk television. So let me put you in the lobby here. Stand by, and then we will open up the Kraken. We'll open up the phone lines here. So stand by, Leo. Here we go. All right, we'll get this audio here exclusively from Leo Haggerty. His question about Bruce Arians' health, a very interesting answer from BA here on the evolution of sports talk television. Enjoy.
Yeah, we're at our lake house in Georgia where it's a little bit more rural and trying to be as smart as we can. Anytime I go out, I have a mask on and don't go out as much as I'd like to. We've stayed away from public restaurants and things like that. And she does let me play golf. That's about it. And I have to have my own cart and stay social distanced. And but without that, I'd probably be going crazy. But yeah, we're trying to do. I think she put the first tank of gas in her car since March 28th last week. We're not going very far.
All right, welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web, and you mentioned something. You asked about the health concern, of course, coming into this whole process. That was the big key. You put out there off air, what health problems has Bruce Arians? I mean, besides the stress and stuff like that, but of course, with COVID going around and it also affecting older people, this could be a concern, right?
Oh, absolutely. And again, Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, dropped the shoe today when he came out and said the NBA is strongly considering banning older coaches from the sidelines during games. Wow. Could you imagine the NFL saying, if you are over 65, you can't coach? I'll tell you what, there'd be a lot of guys looking for jobs. And I think that would be just an atrocity. But again, you're talking about Bruce Arians.
Mm-hmm.
He's 67 years old. He's a cancer survivor. They left Tampa to go to a rural area in Georgia where they have a lake house, and they're not going out. So they're taking it real serious. And again, I've got a wife with leukemia, so I take it serious. When I go out, it's with a mask. When I come back in, those clothes go right into the washer. It's just, you can't take the chance. And he's going to be the one they're going to have to keep an eye on no matter what.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you mentioned something out there, there's older coaches in the NFL, not only a Coach Arians, but also Pete Carroll, who could also be affected, him, coaching the Seattle Seahawks. So a lot of people haven't really taken that into context, but that's something we definitely need to watch. Tell you what, let's go out to the webheads here because this is an interactive show with the fans. Let's go out to them. Yash says, let's go. Missed all week because of work. Bring your passion. Let's go, Bucs. Best virtual edits video. Yo, what it do? How you feeling, Mr. Blake? Great here on a Friday night. I'm feeling like LeBron, better than Jordan. Don't know about that. Guy still swears that LeBron is better than Jordan. You'll never get me to admit that, but we'll keep on debating it. Pete, he's the man. Of course, tonight we got Leo, Joshua, Rick, and of course, Nick Sitro. What's going on, Christopher? What's going on, David? How you doing? Welcome to the Evolution. Bring your passion, bring some excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Absolutely go Bucs, says Joshua. Drew Breeze or Duck Breeze Freeze. I don't know. Joshua Allen is the man. There we go. Anything yet on Freeman? We kind of talked about that. It comes down to Freeman wanting too much money. Even Coach Arians went into that in the press conference, and talk was that he actually turned down $4 million from Seattle. In your opinion, do you believe that Freeman is worth $4 million or more?
All depends on where he goes and who needs a running back. I don't think the Bucs need a $4 million running back.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Again, I think they believe that Rojo is the guy that they're going to give a majority of the carries to, and they want somebody who may be a better receiver than Ronald Jones. I don't know if it's high on the priority list, Peter, in terms of, they're going to break the bank to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be somebody. And again, the thing about the NFL, there's always going to be somebody come off that waiver wire. There's always going to be somebody at that final cut. And the thing about a running back is, okay, run through the 4-hole.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the Oakland Raiders, the 4-hole is between the guard and tackle on the right side. It's on the other side of Oakland. Oakland Raiders is always pass backwards. That's just the way they are.
Right.
But it's not that hard picking up a system if you're a running back.
Yeah, and look, I think it definitely helps, but it doesn't help with Ronald Jones coming off, his second year in the system, and then you draft Keyshawn Vaughn. It kind of takes away from those opportunities for both of those young kids, especially Vaughn, who's a third-round pick. Why draft a running back in the third round if you're interested in a veteran? Why not just go with the veteran beforehand, and then you can use that third-round player or third-round pick on somebody else? Doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm kind of interested. I don't think we do, but you never know. Best virtual edits video. Freeman trying to play in Tampa. I'm not mad. Best virtual edits video. What's going on? If he can't stay healthy, I wouldn't sign him. I think that's the reason why he hasn't been signed in the first place, right? Money is the key, says Susie. Brady, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Is that about right to you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
That's something I can live with.
Okay, let's see here. What's up, Johnny? Alex Fleming, Leo. There you go. A Fantasy and Flavors. Leo bringing the Leo words tonight. That's right. He definitely brings the Leo words. Leo, Leo, Leo. You got a fan base here, my friend. I believe everyone on our Bucs will do well. Life Bro, Ben Cornett, Gronk will be the main decoy in the offense. Also with Brayton, OJ, Gronk will get as much catches, but it will definitely keep him healthier as he won't have a huge workload like years past. And even Rex Ryan mentioned this when they were analyzing the Gronk signing, that it looked like Gronk was running with a piano on his back. Of course, now with him doing wrestling, but I think it's a little bit different. NFL compared to WWE, there's still some action and still some, athleticism that you have to have. But I feel like if he took off that year, what's the possibility that he could actually be healed up and better than ever?
It's funny, Ed. I'm still wondering, is he the 24/7 WWE champ?
He's not.
Oh,
he actually lost it to R-Truth the other night, and then WWE proceeded to release him, which was in his contract. So it's interesting in itself.
I was hoping he'd have it, because could you have seen that at a practice to see the Big E come out and pin him in the middle of a practice?
Sure.
For that?
That would be the most creative thing that WWE has done lately. That's for sure. They definitely need that creativity, but it would have been nice to see. But I don't know if the Bucs would have been too keen on it. Do you?
And I'll tell you what, Peter, the story is going to be two: interceptions and defense.
Okay.
Again, this team scored 438 points, I think, last year. Scoring points. Their problem was they were giving up too many short fields and too many points off of turnovers. If Brady can be 10, I could even live with 12. 12 interceptions, that's fine. Because now, instead of 30 times the Buccaneers have to defend, and some of them they couldn't even defend because it was a pick six. Now they only got to do 12. And I can live with that as a coach, because you know what? The guys on the other side of the ball are getting paid. So, you're going to throw some interceptions, especially now. Again, God forbid, Peter, we're back down to my number, 29. You go over 29, you probably will throw an interception that game. If you can keep it between 25 and 29, you may be able to have a clean sheet when it comes to interceptions.
And look, they've improved their offensive line. Not only the drafting of Tristan Wirfs, but I keep on going back to this. And in the matchup, you definitely have to look at and circle is week 1 versus the Saints. Cameron Jordan versus Donovan Smith. They know, and I think they watched the film, that Jordan usually wins this matchup. So if you have a Gronk and you're chipping on him, or you're helping that rookie out with having Gronk on that side, that automatically improves your offensive line. Let me ask you this, because we kind of missed each other last week. We had Sean, Ozzy, the sports junkie, on. And,
my buddy Oz.
Yes, he was awesome on the sports web. And we talked about the comments from Shaq Barrett on him saying basically the Bucs, if they brought back Jameis Winston, they would be a playoff contender. He would have did well in the offense. But now having Brady, that makes them an over-the-edge Super Bowl contender. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Again, if Brady can dress for 16 games, the Bucs probably will win double digits.
Yeah.
Again, that's just a fact of life. You've got the greatest quarterback in playoff history in Tom Brady. Can he stay healthy? Again, you've seen a little drop off in the last year. We like to say it's because that the Patriots didn't have the complementary weapons that he's used to. Let's hope that's what it is. But one thing we know about quarterbacks, Peter, when they go south in a hurry, because Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, Manning comes to mind. That second year when he was there, win the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos, he barely threw the ball. It was all defensive effort and running game. I think Brady still has something left in the tank, even though the numbers, maybe were down 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. But once again, that was with one wide receiver, some young wide receivers, and on top of it, just one running back. I feel like now the plethora, SAT word, Leo word there, that they have on this offense will definitely help him out. Let's go out to Johnny Dean, the professor. 5 players from a 50-player unsanctioned Bama practice tested positive for COVID-19. That is 10% of the players that showed up. Your thoughts? Scary.
It's not going to be pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if it's happening in Alabama when it's hot, look for the northern schools. Again, Peter, let's just look at the ACC real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Boston College and Syracuse may not be able to play a football game this year. Okay. The Pac-12, Washington State, Oregon may not be able to play a football game because they're in Northwestern, just on the outskirts of Chicago, may not be able to play a football game. Hey, how about the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis? I'll tell you what, this is a crazy situation. I just posted my latest article where I went over the 4 sports leagues as to, where they are in terms of coming back. I just don't see it happening. There's too many variables. There's too many bridges to cross, and some of these bridges aren't even built yet. And again, the NFL has the advantage. It's the off season.
Yes.
They can wait. And again, they can wait to start till November because they can go November to March or April. Then you sit back and relax. But Peter, the one thing we haven't even broached is the subject of fan participation. How is that going to work out?
I'll tell you what, I'm glad that you mentioned that because Coach Arians had also this in his press conference. Let me put you in the lobby. We'll hear from him what he thinks the effect of having no fans and what's going to happen with the schedule. Stand by, all right? So here we go. We'll go out to Coach Arians' comments about, basically, not having the fans here. And we'll go to that right now here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Here we go.
Right now, players will not report until training camp. Our dates right now are July 21st. We may have a quarterback school earlier than that. I would seriously doubt if any fans will be at training camp this year due to the virus and the health of the fans and the players. We've already canceled our inter-squad practices with the Titans and the Jaguars, and just looking to get started. Hopefully we get some extra days, but that's still I think in the works. And the league's trying to do everything it can to make sure the safety of the health of the players and the fans is taken care of.
All right, so there you go. Welcome back to the Evolution. I mean, he puts it out there. There's not going to be any fans at training camp. I really don't think that's a surprise, but it's a shame because of all the excitement that the Bucs right now have in this offseason. The signing of a Tom Brady, the signing of a Gronkowski. I know that fans want to see it, but like you said, and Johnny Dean put it out there, 5 players from the Alabama squad have tested positive for COVID, so you can't take that chance of bringing fans in. Fans could affect the players could infect the fans and coaches and everything like that. So it's very confusing situation going on in the NFL right now. Very convoluted, Leo Ward.
Yes, it is. And Peter, let's take this, God forbid, to another level. We know that Mike Trout, baseball player, his wife is expecting over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid he is exposed to it and brings it home. I mean, I just don't think people are thinking this through completely. And again, Peter, I'm not going to apologize for being the glass half full guy. I'm the one who always looks at the worst case scenario and says, okay, if I don't have that happen, I'm happy because I got better than what I thought I would get. But again, none of the leagues want to be the one where they stand in front of the microphone and stand in front of that camera and try to explain how one of their players, coaches, administrators, referees passed away from COVID-19. And again, people are saying, well, it's just the flu. Well, guess what? It is just the flu. The problem is it's a condensed form of the flu.
All right, let me put you back in the lobby here because he had some interesting comments, of course, about Tom Brady and also something that we really haven't discussed, and that would be reps to rookie players. Stand by, Leo. Here we go. Back to it here, the Coach Arians Zoom conference. I love doing this here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Here we go.
I love it. I mean, it's exactly what he is and who he is. You know, I think it's a great interaction of those guys helping him learn what we do through the Zoom meetings and then taking it out on the field. And now this is what we call it, you know, and it's great. It's great team building for what we can in these times. You know, so yeah, I applaud him for starting it, and more guys are joining in, and you know, so the Zoom meetings are one thing, but man, we're missing 400 reps. You know, our rookies usually get 400 reps by now, and they haven't got any. So I don't know how we're going to make that up, but we're going to have to.
See, and that's an interesting point. And welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the co-host tonight, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, It's Sports Mag. He talks about Brady glowingly. He's done that throughout the offseason, getting everybody together on these workouts. They've at least done 10 to 11, maybe more than that. But also he mentioned something that I don't think a lot of people are taking into account, and that's that 400 missed reps from rookies. Do you think that's going to be a big effect? It has to be, right? 400 missed reps. How can rookies make up for that?
Yeah, you know what, Peter? Before you go on, it's kind of crazy because I'm watching the LaDainian Tomlinson video in the background. That was video just taken from the football camp we held down at TCU. And I'm looking for myself over your shoulder. So, but Peter, the biggest problem the NFL has, and again, it's not the Bucs, it's everybody. They're not getting these reps. The rookies are not getting in. And remember, Bruce Arians split the team up and had a rookie field last year just so these guys could get reps. The two words I want to ask Roger Goodell: competitive balance. The Seahawks can't get in. The Jets, the Giants, the Eagles, the Redskins, the Ravens, the Patriots, the Bears, they can't get in. The Rams, the Chargers, they can't get in to camp. So is he going to hold everything up till everybody's in, which is the only fair thing to do? But again, the one thing I like about the NFL is they don't have to start on time. They can back it up. In fact, they built that schedule to be backed up. And understand this, TV wants the Super Bowl the end of February because it's sweeps week, sweeps month.
Right.
That's where they sell their advertising. And they would love it at the end of February. That would just be something that they would jump up and down for. I think the bigger problem, Peter, and I know this isn't on the dais tonight, but what is college football going to do? They've got to have fans because the football revenue drives the athletic bus. And if there's no revenue from fans, that bus comes to a dead stop, and you're going to see sports, the non-revenue, they're going to be eliminated or at least postponed for a year. So again, this is something, and again, I wrote in my article, I said, you know, what's my opinion? I don't know. I don't think anybody has an educated guess as to what's going to happen with the pandemic or with the protests. Nobody knows how long that's going to last. And again, if all of a sudden you're starting to see players come down with this, do you have to now isolate those 45 other Alabama guys for 14 days? Could you imagine one of the Bucs, let's say week 14, and they're like 9-4, and all of a sudden a couple of players come down, they got to, you know, quarantine the team for 2 weeks? Do they forfeit? Do they change? I mean, that the thought of that is mind-boggling.
And what scares me is the whole Bruce Arians health situation. I mean, he's definitely prone to, you know, with his age, of course, we know that COVID-19, you're susceptible when you get to a certain age, you know, all too well. I'm sorry, I had to. And
no, Peter, it's the truth. I'm 67 too.
Right. So who takes over for the coaching? Is it a Byron Leftwich at that point? Does Byron Leftwich have to coach the team? You can't Zoom coach, can you? I mean, come on. I mean, you've got to make sure you got your ducks in a row, and you've got to make sure everybody at this juncture is going to be safe, and you really don't know.
You know what, Peter? Here's, I think, the alternative. Bruce Arians goes up in the press box.
Okay.
And he's up there. And again, you got Todd Bowles calling the defense, you got Leftwich calling the offense, and you got him up top basically calling down information and staying safe. Again, Peter, I'm wondering what they're going to do with the media.
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to – I'll be honest. The school district of Hillsborough County, which I'm retiring from August 31st, I was banned from March 13th on. Could not go back in the building because I was over 65. And because of the HIPAA laws, they can't go in and check my file and see if there's any other disease or any other health issue. So they just said, anybody over 65, you can't show up. I mean, is it age discrimination? Yeah, but nobody's fighting that one. That's for sure.
No, nobody's definitely fighting that one. And what you're watching right now is the evolution of sports talk television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the legend himself, former Coach Scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Mr. Leo Haggerty, on the evolution. Let's go back out to the webheads here, read some comments. Finally caught a show. Thanks a lot, means the door. 1 in 10. Josh Roberts says Rojo needs a legitimate chance to shine. I agree. We broke. Freeman really is only potentially a good signing if you think RJ can't carry the load. Best virtual edits video is Leo and Leo. I don't know what that means.
No, they're talking about is Leo and Leo. Hey, I'm a Taurus, folks. I'm the bull.
There you go. I'm in Atlanta. Freeman is done. Please no, says Rick. Thanks a lot. Hi, Peter Blake. Good job having Leo Haggerty on back on. That would be my Uncle Dwayne right there. Game is on my new favorite TV show. Richard says Gronk is in great shape. Me, Sador, Rick Hughes, Freeman is a solid receiving back and potentially could be explosive as a check down. Let's go out to Arrow. Offensive line will be a key. Got a block for Brady. Absolutely. Oh, God. Don't turn the NFL into another joke. Misador used to be. He is a shell of what he was. Paul says, bring in another New England running back that Brady recruited. I don't know if they're out there or not. You have to be cut first. We have some big receiver. We have some of the best receivers in the league, says Joshua. Good stuff. Brady will have more interceptions than Chicago will have fans in the stands this season, but 10 is always more than 0. Wow. The line has to block for Brady.
I like that. That was pretty good.
Yes, it was. Good stuff, Misador. The line has to block for Brady. Defense has got to get pass rush. Absolutely. Rick Hughes, he has essentially had a year off. Absolutely. Ozzy. Yash says, I'm still worried about the O-line. Are you worried about the O-line? Is that going to be still one of the big question marks coming into 2020, Leo?
Yeah, because, Peter, who's missing out the most on the training camp and the OTAs? Is it Tom Brady? Is it Gronk? Or is it Tristan Wirfs? I think it's Tristan Wirfs. I mean, that's what they're really losing out on, is getting him acclimated, because he's going to play.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And again, remember Leo's rules of scouting. The first round pick, unless it's a quarterback, has to play somewhere. The second round pick has to contribute, has to be your posse wideout, has to be your nickel corner, has to be your rush end. 3 through 7, that's for depth.
Okay.
That's what you're looking for.
Okay. Good stuff. Yaj says I'm okay. So we read that. Sorry. Yes, Yaj. Yep. Joshua says O-line looks decent. There's a difference between Brady and Manning. Brady hasn't had 4 neck surgeries, which is a good point. Excuse me. Misador says testing positive just means at one time they contracted it. You will carry traces of it. Ben says, Misador, that's all it might take to postpone football. I agree with it. And I go back to Fauci's comments. If there's one player, okay. But if there's more than one player, if there's 4 players on a team, then basically you've got to shut it down. And I think Greg Auman of The Athletic was kind of looking at this possibility where they'll look at it from week 1, see what happens if there's any players that test positive. If not, then they'll continue on with the season. If there is, then they can go ahead and make the season a little bit later and extend it for those next 2 weeks.
Well, Peter, the biggest problem is that, and I don't want anybody to get false hope, but they're not going to have a vaccine by the time football starts.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. It's going to take testing. It's going to take everything. And that's going to happen maybe January or February at the earliest.
Yeah.
Because once you do that, you got to field test it. And I would not want somebody to come in and say, okay, we field tested and it was 96% correct. Well, what about those 4 people that it didn't work on? You got to try to figure that out. So
absolutely.
And here's another thing, Peter. I don't think anybody's figured this out.
Mm-hmm.
32 NFL teams, correct?
Mm-hmm.
70 players with their practice squads, right?
Mm-hmm.
70 times 32 plus another 15 coaches plus another 20. You're talking about close to 100 people from 32 teams having to be tested.
Mm-hmm.
How often? If you're talking every day, you're talking 3,200 tests a day. Somebody's going to come back positive. It's just, it's in the card. And, here's the thing, Peter, and I'm not going to put a conspiracy theory out.
Yeah.
But if Tom Brady tests positive and he's asymptomatic, I think they'll look the other way as opposed to the third team offensive tackle.
I think they would. I think they definitely would.
Oh, I think they will. Absolutely.
But it would be something that you would have to watch for symptoms and who would it affect on the team. Susie says, hi, Peter, me, Sador. We are in Chicagoland, just started the third phase of opening, which still doesn't allow more than 50% capacity. No concerts or sporting events. Ben Cornett, right? I know. Yaj says, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Ben says, anyone have thoughts on the FSU situation with Mike Norvell and Marvin Wilson? For me, look, you just can't be a liar and you can't be fake about it. If you come out and you say that you talk to every individual player and you didn't do that, why come out and say that? And then the player calls them out and then he gets an apology and everything's okay. You kind of wonder if this is not the right way to start as the new coach of the Seminoles, right?
Well, plus you got to understand, Florida State, the inmates are running the asylum up there. They ran, Willie out completely because they didn't like him. Now they may be the same thing. And again, Peter, the question is, when he said, I talked to every player individually, or did he talk to every individual? There's the thing. If he said, I talked to every individual, that means he could have been at a Zoom meeting for 100 people.
Right.
Then he talked to everybody. It's all a matter of semantics now.
Well,
and so
what you hear is, Leo, that the players are saying that they received, an automated text. So that's not the.
I've contacted him.
Right.
I mean,
he made it sound like he individually took everybody aside and talked to him about the situation. That's not what he did, and he knew he didn't.
No,
right. So
no, he didn't do that. When he said I talked to everybody, if he'd have said on an individual basis, that's a whole different animal than I talked to everybody individually. Okay, great, I did.
Yeah,
I think Florida State is definitely, they're in the sewer and they're heading south, if that gives you any idea.
Well, you kind of wonder, you've been a coach before. It's so important to have the trust of your players, and already you're basically aligned. So I don't know where that trust goes. Last year, some college or high school coach from his hospital room. Can't remember who it was. I will have to look that article up. David says, congrats, Mr. Lee, on your retirement. That would be David there, maybe one of your students, Leo. All right, game on or not, game is on. It's Gronk's game show. Good stuff. Let's leave the medical talk to the experts. Agree with that. And Josh Lego. All right, I tell you what, let me go ahead. I'm going to put you in the lobby, but first, I'm going to actually introduce you to one of our newest writers. He's got a lot of interviews here. I want you guys to meet up. Mr. Joshua Allen, or Joshua Cole Allen, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Meet Mr. Leo Haggerty, the legend himself. How you doing, boss?
Doing great. How you guys doing? Nice to meet you, Leo.
Hey, Josh. How you doing?
Great, man. I saw you in the interview the other day. I was like, hey, that's Leo up there.
Yeah, it was. I got a face for radio.
All right, so we got one of our old friends in the lobby. I was going to go out to him really quick so, Leo, you could get out of here. I wanted him to say hi to you. Let me go out to Mr. Buzz himself. More buzz than the Charlotte Hornets. Mr. Rick Brown, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And look what the cat dragged in. We got Leo Haggerty on with us again. It's just like old times at the radio station, right?
Coach Haggerty. How the hell are you, my brother?
The Rickster. What's new with you? I hear you. I hear you.
What's up, Josh?
All right,
How
Rick.
you doing, bro?
What's going on, Rick? How's everything?
Before we get off,
what'd you say, Leo?
before I get off, Rick, I'm going to ask you, Joshua, and Peter the same thing.
Okay.
I'm saying the over under for the NFL starting is October 1st. Do you say before or do you say after? Rick, you first, then Joshua, then the host. October 1st.
Well, I think that's a great line. Knowing the NFL and knowing how much they want to push things, I'm taking the under. I think they're doing everything in their power to start on time. So I'm gonna take the under on this.
Joshua?
I'm going to take the under with one caveat. I think they'll play that first week, but if things don't, with fans in the stands, maybe not full capacity, but if there's a little bit of backlash, if there's some positive numbers that test, I think they'll take weeks 2, 3, and 4, push them at the end of the schedule and restart on October 1st. So I do think they're pushing for that first week as kind of a test, because I don't believe there'll be fans in the stands in the preseason. I once thought there were, but once Maryland governor came out saying, there will be no, and things could change, but there will be no large groups gathering until the end of August, which obviously rules preseason out. I believe other teams will follow suit as well. So I believe they're pushing for that first game. They're going to go with it, whether capacity is an issue or whatnot, but they'll play that out, see how it works. And if there is, some backlash, because they'll have that Thursday game before the Sunday games too. So they'll have a couple days to kind of look at it and see the numbers and see, what's going on. If there's a couple positive testing, I can see them finishing out that weekend and then restarting October 1st. So under with asterisk caveat to it.
And I definitely
okay, Peter, we got an under. We got an under with an asterisk. What do you want?
I think they go under just because I'm an eternal optimist here on the sports web. I believe that everybody's been kind of pushing to start on time. The NFL has the advantage by seeing what every league can do, and if there's no complications to it, I definitely think they're going to start on time. On top of that, I feel like they're going to do something with having fans in the stands. That's just how I feel.
Absolutely. Well, Peter, I'll get off so you and Joshua and Rick can have a little chat. Gentlemen, Joshua, great to meet you. Rick, good to see you again. I like that. I like that COVID beard. I mean, that's a nice touch there.
Yes. I'm just letting it go for a little bit, and when the season starts, I'll cut it, just like this is the playoffs for hockey.
I hear you. Peter, thanks for having me on. And ladies and gentlemen, hope to see you next week.
Absolutely. Leo Haggerty, go ahead and promote yourself really quick on where they can read you and find you at.
Well, go to itsportsmag.com. I just posted an article on the 4 leagues as to how they are progressing to start. It's not a pretty article because they're not progressing real well. And go check that out, and we will have our poll question. Peter, I'm still waiting for you to jump in on that. Come on, get with the program here.
I know I need to, but I'm busy with this. I know you're busy with it, so I will definitely jump on it. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions at Sports Mag. You've been on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Thanks a lot for your time. All right, boss?
Stay safe, everybody.
All right, there you go. Well. Haggerty, and we've got Mr. Rick Brown on. I tell you what, we'll keep you guys on if you guys are comfortable staying on. I don't know if you've introduced each other here, but we'll keep you both on the sports web. Yeah. And I got to ask you here, Josh, the big story was not only Devontae Freeman and the money aspect, which I was really surprised by Coach Arian saying that, but also coming to grips not only with the date, they're going to start on June 21st, but also the 12 personnel. What do you make of it?
Well, the Devontae Freeman was interesting. And what was even more interesting, if you saw on Twitter, Devontae told him to pretty much, reach out to my people. Look, we can't negotiate over media. So maybe there's something there where he might take less money. He kind of sees what's going on. He sees the hype. It could be, if he's only getting 1 year prove-it deals, maybe take a little bit less to join this team, go after a ring, and learn from, one of the best head coaches and obviously the greatest quarterback of all time. 12 personnel. I love Bruce Arians' answer. He chuckled with it. He's like, 12 personnel. I know we got that, So it was great to, hear that answer. I'm excited for it. It's unstoppable. He mentioned that even if they went, 13 personnel with 3 tight ends in the field, there's not a lot of teams that can stop that. And if you don't know how to stop that, it can really hurt you. So I'm excited to see how everything plays out. He's obviously excited about having both Gronk and OJ, or both Gronk and Brady on the field at the same time with those wide receivers and the running backs, and obviously Tom Brady. But he also mentioned that he was excited to see how the third, fourth, and fifth wide receivers break out, and that he wanted to run more 4 wide receiver set, and didn't feel he had the personnel to do that last year with Brashad Perriman and Scotty Miller being injured a lot, and then the Justin Watson and those guys. So he feels with Tyler Johnson there, he probably has a solid number 3 receiver right there, and that one of Watson or Miller will step up, and they'll be able to put 4 wide receivers. Because as he said, once you go 4-on-4, there's not a lot of cornerbacks, fourth cornerbacks that are that good that can match up on a good 4th wide receiver. So if they can develop that and bring that, to light, that's another weapon and advantage that they have, along with that strong 12 personnel grouping.
And I mean, Rick, 12 personnel, all the weapons they have, and it certainly seems like in this press conference that Arians is kind of licking his chops at this point. He even talked about 4 wide receivers. They already have Godwin, of course, and Evans and Gronk, but Tyler Johnson could play into this. OJ Howard, possibly a Scotty Miller, who I think they're going to try to use him on that 4th cornerback, because you look at 4th cornerbacks in the league and they're not that good. So they feel very confident in the offensive weapons, and of course, Brady being at the controls, right?
Yes, they do, but I don't think we'll see a lot of 4 wide receiver sets, at least not early on in the season. Mm-hmm. Maybe if we have a season, if we do have a season, and I'm speaking out very optimistically here, that I think that'll happen later on during the season, because if you look at the tight ends that they do have right here, I mean, you have potentially 2 tight ends that could go out wide, that could play. So I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think he is licking his chops at this situation. It could be interesting there. I mean, and if we remember when OJ Howard came out, there was a lot of hype about his catching ability, but one thing he did very well that he hasn't been getting a lot of credit here in the league, he's blocked well too. He was a great blocker at Alabama. So, I mean, Nick Saban raved about his blocking more so than his pass catching ability. So this narrative that he hasn't been a good blocker in the league, I disagree totally.
Okay.
And I think with him and Gronk there, and then you have this other kid there who, he was among the league leaders in touchdowns a couple of years ago. Their tight end core is probably the best in the league right now. I don't think this is hyperbole. And their receiving core, their top 2 receivers anyway, I'll put them up against any other top 2 receivers in the league. So, yeah, they offensively, at least the passing game, it looks very interesting.
Looks definitely interesting. And what you're watching right now is the evolution of sports talk television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with our newest writer here on Bucs Report, Mr. Joshua Cole Allen, Mr. Buzz himself. More buzz than the Charlotte Hornets, of course, covers the Bucs. He's covered the Bucs longer than 20 years here, Mr. Rick Brown. Got to go out to your team there in the background. Some people mention the Redskins, and that's okay. You don't necessarily have to be a Bucs fan in order to be on the Sports Web. We're on Bucs Report, but I welcome all NFL fans. The guy likes the Redskins. Leave him alone. Stop trolling.
No. Stop. Let them speak. Let them speak.
Oh, yeah.
And let me speak on this issue, okay? Let's get this out of the way.
Yes.
I grew up born and raised in Washington, D.C., 3 blocks from RFK Stadium, okay, where the Hogs reigned for many years there. So I grew up a Redskin fan. Right now, I have disassociated myself with the team because of the owner. We've talked about this, Peter. I don't think the fans will know this. I'm not a Daniel Snyder fan right now. Haven't been for a couple of years. And until Daniel Snyder gives up the team, then these are all just memories of glory years. But if you want to talk about my team, the team up there,
yes,
the FAMU Rattlers that's going to the SWAC conference next year, that is my team. That's the team I follow. NFL, I'm just a reporter. Okay, so lay it on me. You talk about the Washington Football Club that I won't say their last name.
Okay.
You can say all of that, all you want to. I don't care. Give it to me. But that's why you love me as a Bucs reporter, because I was non-biased with your team.
That's right. Straight, no chaser. Josh, can you hang out for a little bit? Because I know you may have to run, but you're cool, right?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good for as long as we want to hang out. You know,
that's what's up.
We're going to keep you all on here. Now, this is what D'Angelo Hall had to say to NFL.com. I could say with full confidence that I take a healthy Jordan Reed almost every single tight end I played against, even a Rob Gronkowski. Gronk is a great player, but he didn't strike fear into me at the line of scrimmage. He's big and physical, but I knew Gronk could never run by me. Reed could run by defenders on every play, thanks in large part to his basketball background. I'm telling you, basketball guys who play football are different animals. So, your thoughts? Gronk to me is the best tight end in this generation, and there's no debating that because he's a part of the all-decade team. So, do you feel like Hall is kind of trying to provide some shade there, Rick? Or when Reed was healthy, which is a big if, he hasn't been able to stay healthy, could be better than Gronk?
Reed was good. He was dangerous. He was definitely a threat, and teams did have to prepare for him. But to say that he was better, I think you have to go long term. And Gronk has been better longer than Reed. Reed may have speed. Reed may cause problems, but Gronk causes a whole lot of problems in the red zone, at the 50-yard line, at the 20-yard line, because you still have to guard him. He may not run past you, but he'll run over you or jump over you, either one. So D'Angelo, you know, I love that kid. The kid was a baller. He talked his talk and backed it up, and when he didn't, he still held his ground. But I think he's totally off base here.
All right, Josh.
And I'd have to completely agree with that. Like Rick said, longevity, you got to look at it. He was a flash in the pan. He did perform well. He was a matchup, kind of nightmare there for a little bit. But if you can't stay healthy, then you can't prove that you're the best tight end or one of the best tight ends. And yes, Gronk had his share of injury problems. But if you look at his overall body of work, he's proven that not only is he, in my opinion, the best tight end to ever play, with Tony Gonzalez as a close second. But his all-around complete game is probably better than any tight end, especially the last generation, if not ever. He's, as Rick has spoke upon, he's a monster blocker and he's a monster receiver. You literally have to game plan for him specifically every week to figure out where he's going to be. How are we going to stop him? Are we going to use a linebacker to chip him, a safety to cover him? Are we going to try to put our nickel on him? God forbid he goes spread out wide or spread into the slot, and now we have to have a cornerback cover him with a safety over top. He's drawing the safety attention almost every play that he does go out wide, because if he gets the ball against the cornerback, he's going to run over him. He's going to knock him down to the ground. And everyone's, at my biggest highlight when I think of Gronk is that game where he caught the ball against the Buffalo Bills, dragged two defenders on it, broke out of an ankle and still made it, almost with a touchdown. So that just gives you a glimpse of what he can do. Now, Jordan Reed is more of a make people miss. He's not a run over you. He's not a go through you. He uses his speed and his agility to get by you. Gronk has the speed and agility, or at least had it in his earlier years, to kind of make people miss, but to also run over them. And the blocking game is just, icing on the cake for me. He gets it hands down. But bring on those comments, Dante Hall, because we'll love to post them up on the locker room and use those as motivation, in the season. So, absolutely not.
Josh, Leo kind of mentioned this before on the segment that he felt like Gronk wasn't going to play 60 snaps. He was going to play a limited number of snaps, and that's what I say where OJ Howard or Cameron Brate breaks out. Do you see the Bucs kind of preserving Gronk the beginning of the season, and then kind of trying to work him into the flow with more snaps to save him for the postseason?
Well, I'm not so sure about the beginning of the season, because I think that's going to be a huge target for Tom Brady to rely on with his chemistry, with his trust, and with the knowledge of each other already. It depends on how quickly these receivers and other tight ends develop chemistry with him. But I can definitely see him playing a big part, that first quarter of the season, then kind of dialing it back once the chemistry is there with everybody else, just to keep him fresh, to keep him from, really getting injured. And then, right after that bye week, which is week 13, which is a bye week that I really love for the playoff push, to kind of get everybody's nicks and bruises, kind of healed up and ready to go for that last 4 games before the playoffs. You start to kind of ramp them up a little bit more for the playoffs. So I can see those first 4 games a big part. The next 8 games kind of, just part of the game plan, getting involved. And then those last 4 games, part of the big game plan as well, going, into the playoffs.
Now, Rick, a lot of concerns with this team, always question marks with every team in the NFL, but especially the Bucs, not only offensive line, possibly the running game, but Coach Arians even mentioned this. He said special teams, definitely return game got better with TJ Logan. One of the areas he was concerned with missing all those reps. He said that, the units were hurt by the injuries last year. They feel like they can get better. He said Matt Gay before November was a really dependable kicker, but seemed like he hit that rookie wall, and he's going to be happy to have that competition with the Elliott Fry. Do you think that's one of the big concerns going in, and do you feel like the Bucs still have confidence in Gay kicking for this team?
Well, as we've seen in the past, the GM, it doesn't mind or has no problems getting rid of kickers who don't do their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he will be watched. There will be a lot of scrutiny on him this year, and he's going to have to come out right away and perform. Which, I mean, this is the NFL. This is a not for long league.
Right.
So you have to perform. And this is a position that, as we know, Pete, in the past has damaged this team's chances to win games.
Right.
So, yes, I don't think this is a front. I think that he is on watch, and he better be on his leg had better be ready, because he won't get too many chances to make a mistake here. Not this year.
Yeah, I mean, you see the games last year against the Giants, possibly could have won the game at the end of the year with the Falcons. Too many missed kicks, and he talked about it after November. He felt like Gay hit that rookie wall, and as you've seen since 2009, the Bucs have had the lowest kicking percentage in the NFL. It seems like it's the Matt Bryant curse here, Josh. The other thing that kind of struck me about this press conference is what he said about rookies missing that 400 reps. How do you think these rookies can miss up for all those missing reps?
It's going to be difficult for them to get up to speed, especially because so many of them haven't arrived in Tampa yet. They're still, with their families in their cities and states that they are. So they haven't even made their way over to Tampa yet, which would have helped them. I'm sure they'll start to slowly trickle in now. But if they were here, they'd be probably taking part of some of these practices with Tom Brady that he's organizing. So they're just going to have to do their mental reps, go through the online workouts. Hopefully there's a rookie camp, as Bruce Arians mentioned, to get them in a little bit earlier, because you got to think they're going to want to get those rookies in earlier. They haven't seen the facilities. They haven't, seen the weight room. They haven't seen the practice field. They haven't met with the coaches in person. So all that should be stuff that's done before training camp kicks off, so they're not overwhelmed with not only having to go into training camp and start practicing and, you know, go up against real life NFL competition and against people like Tom Brady, where they're not, you know, starstruck and, you know, awestruck of, you know, the opportunity that they have. So it's just going to be getting in here and just getting to work and extra reps after practice, staying behind. And I can see that a lot of the team players doing that, staying after practice, getting those physical reps in because they've taken the mental reps in. One thing that might benefit them is that they do have the playbook. So hopefully they've been studying it as hard as they can. So when they come in, they already have the mental aspect kind of down, and it's just putting it on the field. But there's no way to make those reps up unless, as Bruce said, the NFL is considering adding more days to training camp. And even then, it's still not going to add all the reps that they had. A big thing too is a lot of the tryout players that would attend minicamp and OTAs, they never even got that opportunity. So there's a lot of players that didn't get the opportunity that might get the opportunity in training camp, but it's hard to say because now you're up against a roster cap, whereas tryout players aren't, you know, they don't factor into that. So it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, you know, they've been studying the playbook and they'll spend a lot of time after practice kind of dialing that down, but we don't know. I mean, I don't know how they're going to make those up.
Yeah, I don't know either. And you're Rick, they talked about signing a Freeman. You've seen him before, Devontae Freeman. Do you feel like he still has something left in the tank? And if they do sign him, does that basically say to you that they're not necessarily that confident in Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn?
I don't think that would be what I would say, Pete. I think I would say they upgraded because this kid can do it all. I mean, this kid can catch out of the backfield. This kid can block a little bit, and definitely he can run.
Sure.
I don't care what he did last year. I don't care what he did his last year in Atlanta. I've seen this kid. You've seen this kid. This kid is explosive. Every time he gets the ball in the open field, he has the potential to go all the way. I mean, he makes plays. He's exciting. He's a back that the Bucs haven't had in a long time. If the price is right, and I think he wants to come to Tampa Bay. I really do. And I think his message on social media was saying, please talk to me. Let's talk, because don't believe the hype that I want all this money, because I want to play Atlanta twice a year. I want to go against them. Yeah. So, yeah, I think this is a good possibility. I think it will be great. And I don't think it's a slight on either Ronald Jones. I don't think it's a slight at all on the running backs. I just think it's an upgrade. They have a chance to get better. And as you guys know, Tom Brady doesn't have 5 years left.
Right.
Yeah. And I'd like to touch on that too. As Rick was saying, you bring Freeman in, and this team is in a win now mode. You bring Freeman in, who's done it consistently. I mean, just looking at it, even, you know, in 14 games last year, he missed a couple. He still had over 650 yards running and 59 catches for 410 yards, with, you know, 6.9 yards per catch. And he's done it well. Every year he's played, besides that year that he got injured, only played 2 games, he's had 1,000 yards from scrimmage. So it's not a slight against Rojo or Vaughn. It's you have an established NFL player who knows how to pass block, who knows how to run, who knows how to catch, who can do it all out of the backfield, who's still relatively young at only 27 years old. So if you can bring him in, and then, you know, you have Vaughn there, and they're high on Vaughn. But if you can have Vaughn, and Devontae Freeman would probably only be brought in for 1 year, you have Vaughn. Brady split his passes up to James White, Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, Brandon Bolden. So he uses a variety of running backs out of the backfield. They'd still all get work, but Vaughn would have the ability to learn from Devonta Freeman and be able to pick up some of those nuances of his game, to just pick his brain, and because he's a guy that's done it in both facets of the game, rushing and receiving. And it would be great for Vaughn to learn from him, because he's not going to learn as much from Rojo, because Rojo's still trying to prove himself as well. So I think it wouldn't be a slight to them, as Rick said. It'd be a win now move, with based off, you know, someone like Vaughn and Calais learning from, you know, someone like Devontae Freeman to improve their game going forward.
And Rojo can learn from him as well. So
exactly.
Sure. Sure. All right, open phone lines. We opened up the Kraken. If you have any questions for Joshua Cole Allen or Mr. Buzz himself, Rick Brown, 727-266-5851. It's 727-266-5851. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Joshua Cole Allen, one of our newest writers, but you wouldn't know because the guy's going out and getting interviews with NFL players like you wanted. We give you what you want. And of course, we got Mr. Rick Brown, more buzz than the Charlotte Hornets. Got to say it. Keep on saying it here. Let's go out to the webheads, read some comments, and then we will get back to it because I definitely don't want to neglect the webheads here. Bucky says, Ben G. Joshua, the interview guy. You're all funny. I hope you're laughing. That's good. Not laughing at us, laughing with us, whatever it is. Dancing Leo in the house. Johnny Dean, Rick Brown is the man. Blue skin stink, says AJ Joff. Yeah, let's go, Josh, says Carl. Shut up, Carl. Haha, says Carl. Let's see. Good point, Joshua. I agree. Love you, Carl, says Ben G. Rick Brown, been under a rock. Never heard of him, but what's up? If you never heard of Rick Brown, go ahead and let them know. Please introduce yourself, Mr. Rick Brown.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Rick. No,
busted out here.
For those who don't know me, and where have you been if you don't know me? But no, that sounded so egotistical. Been a sports writer for more than 27, 28. I've been a sports writer for a long time, and let's say for more than a quarter of a century. I haven't been covering the Bucs for 20 years. Peter, but I've been around the Bucs for almost 20 years. And definitely, I covered them full time for 15 years or so.
Okay.
Used to write for the Lakeland Ledger. Have had cups of coffee with ESPN.com, St. Pete Times, FanRag, and a couple other little joints. Now I'm writing when they let me. A Bucs report. No. No, that's a good thing. And so been here for a long time, and I know Tampa Bay sports. So that's who I am.
He's been around. We get people around here that have done it. We get a Rick Brown. We get an Al Keck. We get a Leo Haggerty. You have a Pat Yasinskis. You have people in the know. We know what we're doing here on the Sports Web. That's why you should join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook. Of course, like and follow on YouTube and Twitter. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Joshua Cole Allen, one of our newest writers, who basically is just killing it right now. So definitely go and watch for him and his work. And of course, Mr. Rick Brown, more buzz than the Charlotte Hornets. All right, let's go out to Ben. I'll take the under. Good stuff, Leo. AJ says Western Avenue crew for life. Love Jennifer. Good stuff. Under as well. Joshua Cole Allen knows his stuff. That's why he's on the Sports Web. We don't get dummies on here. Sometimes people call me. Hey, I'll take it. Wait, Peter. Why does Rick have Redskins logo in his back? We already talked about.
I hope we explained it.
Yeah, we did. We definitely explained that. Brady, 65 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. William, I think you're trolling. Is he trolling, guys? 65 touchdowns, William. Really? Come on. Stop playing. Baseball will not happen in 2020. Tim, a lot of people feel like that. What's up? How you doing, Tim? William says, I think it will. That would be awful. Stupid not to. Oh, man, says AJ Joff. AJ Joff again. 22 personnel. I think he's getting to Ben Cornett. William, players are going to budge on a 48-game schedule at this point. That was the latest proposal by Major League Baseball, and they said they won't counter-propose. William says, I wonder BA's heart will be in it with the threat of COVID looming. Guys, I really don't think it's the heart. I think it comes down to the health situation. Leo kind of mentioned this and asked BA about the health situation. What are your thoughts on BA at this point? He definitely, to me, has the heart, right, Rick?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if he didn't have the heart, I don't think he would be doing this. It's not about the money at this point. I think it's a love for the game. And if anyone's played sports or have coached sports at any level, it's something about being around players. It's something about being in competition. It's a love that you just can't get rid of. And so, no, it's not the heart. Yes, you can get burnt out. But even Dick Vermeil came back from his burnout days with the Eagles to make another run. So I don't think it will ever be about his heart, unless his heart is literally messed up.
Yeah.
God forbid. So no, no, it's not about that. It would be a health reason for him to leave especially this team now.
Yeah.
Because I believe he really believes they have a chance. So
they're going to try to go for the 7th ring here for Brady in their home stadium, which has never been done before, Joshua, by an NFL team. So I definitely think he's got the heart in it. Of course, they're going to take every precaution. But he's definitely feels like with this organization putting all their chips in the table, they have a better chance than they've ever had, and he's probably ever had in his coaching career to really get it done and win a championship. Right, Josh?
Absolutely. And, the whole heart thing with Tom Brady coming, with Gronk coming, with the improved defense, with the improved offense, with the Super Bowl in the backyard, you got to think he's got a more heart than ever to want to go out there and perform and win a Super Bowl ring as a head coach. He has 2 of them already as assistant coaches, but as a head coach, everyone knows the type of coach he is. He's always talked about one of the most respected coaches in the game. We've seen what he's done with people like Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck, resurrected Carson Palmer's career to an extent. So now he gets to work with the GOAT of all time. And that's got to have him more excited than anything. He's worked with Peyton Manning, like I said, who is arguably one of the best quarterbacks, top 5, top 10, wherever you have him. Ben Roethlisberger, say what you want with him. He's definitely in that discussion of a top 15 quarterback of all time with his Super Bowl wins and his statistics. Andrew Luck was on a great career trajectory before he was injured and then all of a sudden retired. So he's worked with great quarterbacks, and now he gets the greatest of all. And if that doesn't get your juices flowing, and if the Tampa Super Bowl and Tampa doesn't get your juices flowing, I don't know what will. He's built a great cast of staff around him, and he's built a great team with Light, and I think he's roaring to go. I think being away from the team is wearing on his heart more than not wanting to coach the team. So absolutely not.
Speaking of expectations here, Rick, Shaq Barrett came out the other day on ESPN, basically said, look, if we bring back Winston, we would have been a playoff team. But now that we have Brady, we're an over-the-edge Super Bowl contender. Do you agree with him?
No.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. And listen, Buck fans, I'm sorry. I'm skeptical here. And the reason, he's supposed to believe this. This is what he is supposed to say. And I really hope he believes this. But let's see. How many years has it been since the Bucs made the playoffs? Let me count the ways.
12. Last time, yes. Last time a first-round loss to the New York Giants, who, by the way, went on to beat the New England Patriots.
Don't do it. Come on, Peter.
But expectations are high around here, and everyone's excited, and we get like this. This seems like every year. I do agree with his statement that with Winston, they would be pushing. They will be among the playoff contenders. I do believe that they are still among the playoff contenders. Are they a Super Bowl contender, though? How can you jump from not being in the playoffs straight to the Super Bowl? I don't see it. Realistically, I just don't see. Everything has to fall in place. The defense has to be 10 times better than they were for 16 games. For at least 12 games, of the year, and not just the final 6 or 4 or whatever it was that they finally decided to show up. Nothing against the defense because I'm a defensive guy and I like defense. Okay.
All right,
offense has
sports Don.
hey, look, the offense has improved a little bit. Okay. Yes, they have a better quarter. They've upgraded at quarterback. Okay. They will have less than 30 interceptions this year. Okay. But there's still the threat of injuries. We don't know about that. Every year, someone gets hurt that we need to replace. A team needs to replace. And the Bucs haven't done a good job at replacing injured players as of yet. And then, I mean, the schedule. Look at the schedule. Have you looked at the schedule?
Better than
y'all looked at the schedule.
I
looked at the schedule, and I'm sorry. That's a tough schedule. But having said all of that, there's always one team every year that surprises, that comes out of nowhere and shocks the world. Could the Bucs be that team this year? Maybe, but I wouldn't put my life on it. If you want to put your life on it, go for it. I love you. I'll be in the background writing about it, saying Peter Blake was a great guy, a hell of a guy on the air, but he gave us.
He had a heart attack when he found out that the team didn't make the Super Bowl. Very nice, Rick Brown, Mr. Buzz. More buzz in the Charlotte Hornets. We got Joshua Cole Allen on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Tell you what, let's make it a four-way here. And no, I'm sorry, I had to. We got Nick, our lost friend from our analyst for Bucs Report. Where you been, Nick?
Oh, where's my invite? You haven't invited me on. I've been missing you and watching your shows, and I've been feeling left out. I don't know what's going on over there.
Always welcome here on the
Just kidding.
Television. So what have we missed? I mean, I got to go back to the chat comments for you. You saw them. Do you feel like the Bucs are an over-the-edge Super Bowl contender, or is it, like Rick said, maybe we're being a little bit too optimistic, thinking that Brady, because he's going to be 43 and he has those 6 championships, maybe he could be on a steep decline, even with all the weapons around him.
I mean, I think he's definitely on a decline. The question is, how much of a decline is it? And I'm going to take the opposite stance of Rick Brown over there and say they can absolutely be a Super Bowl team. We saw the 4-12 49ers in 2018 make it to the Super Bowl the year after that. We've seen the Jaguars, who were, I don't remember their record, 5 wins, 6 wins, make it to the AFC Championship game. And we're a blown fumble away from beating the Patriots and going to the Super Bowl. So I know Rick Brown said it. There's always a team that does it. Why can't it be the Bucs? I mean, they've had a horrific, history, but that's history. And we've upgraded at quarterback, offensive line, safety, kick and punt returner. I think, if you're a player, what else are you going to say? I think you have to have that mentality as a player, or else, what are you even doing out there? So they can absolutely be a Super Bowl team.
I remember making this mistake, and Rick does too, because I was on air at 10:10 a.m. We had a Buccaneer offensive lineman in there, and it's the first time you interview a player, and I go, what's the biggest expectation? And he looks at me, to win a Super Bowl. And I was like, okay, I'm never asking that question again on radio. The guy really gave it to me. That's how you learn to not ask dumb questions. And we're on with Nick Sitro, our analyst here for Bucs Report. We got Mr. Rick Brown, Mr. Buzz himself, more buzz in the Charlotte Hornets, Joshua Cole Allen.
But what about Josh? What does he think, Pete? I want to hear what Josh thinks about this.
Yeah, well,
tiebreaker.
I mean, I'm gonna have to jump on Nick's side here. Jameis Winston. You look at Jameis Winston last year, and he cost the team games. He cost the defense rest. Bruce Arians said it. One of the things that was the worst thing about last year was the points off turnovers. And when you're throwing interceptions early in the game and you're trailing, you can't get the game plan that you wanted to installed into it. And Tom Brady's not going to make those mistakes as much as someone like Jameis Winston did. So for Shaq to have confidence, with Brady coming in here, I completely see it. They'll never come out publicly and say it, but the Buccaneers players know that Jameis cost them a chance to go to the playoffs with his turnovers. Adjusted for
no,
dropped interceptions. You have 40 interceptions with 5 fumbles. That's 45 turnovers from your starting quarterback. And granted, not all of those were his fault, but there has to be an improvement there. And they see Tom Brady, who had, I believe, 8 interceptions last year, as a huge improvement to that to coming to this team, not just as a player, but also as a leader and as someone as a locker room standpoint who can give the people, give the teams, the players in there advice and give them, the knowledge that he's had over 20 NFL seasons, 6 Super Bowl wins, 9 Super Bowl appearances, consecutive AFC championship games. His resume speaks for himself. If he can bring that in, and then Gronk as an echo to bring that in and say, hey, you guys might have been doing it this way, but we can do it this way and your way, and we can, change our culture so it's not this losing. And as for the surprise aspect, the Buccaneers could come out as a surprise if they weren't the media darling and everyone was talking about them already. So I don't think they're a surprise anymore. Do I think they could improve on last year? Yes, but they should have been 9-7 last year, quite frankly.
But does 9-7 get you into the playoffs last year?
Yes, it did.
No,
I believe.
No, it do not.
I believe it got you into the playoffs as a wild card team.
No,
it didn't.
And I'm sorry, you cannot blame the Bucs not making the playoffs on Jameis Winston. Just on his, yes, he had 30 interceptions. He also threw for 5,000 yards. So I'm sorry,
garbage time stats
and 33 touchdowns. So it's not just him out there. What about the defense that gave up so many, much?
The year, yeah. I mean, the first.
Well, when you're on,
don't do that. Just don't.
When you're on the field so much because your quarterback keeps turning it over and you're not being able to have that rest and recovery time. And when you're young,
I came at the right time.
Correctly,
when you're a young
maybe
defense,
your quarterback wouldn't have
still learning because you're rookies.
I think one of the receivers said that he would only have 15 interceptions if the receivers ran the right routes. But that's that's neither here nor there because.
All right, you want to know why the Bucs were 7-9 last year? It was Jameis Winston, a combination of Jameis Winston. The run game was awful. The play calling was terrible, especially in the Giants game, and the secondary was atrocious for the first 6 games. It's all of the above. And I think Jameis Winston is the reason why they got to 7 games, and he's the reason why they didn't get more than 7 games. I mean, he is the reason why he held them back and also pushed them over the edge at the same time. That is the Jameis Winston effect. The team doesn't go 7-9 if he doesn't throw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. They probably win 3 games. They also do better than 7-9 if he doesn't throw 7 pick sixes, 30 interceptions, and throw 15 in their own territory.
You are Switzerland. I'm gonna call you Nick Switzerland Citro.
Nick Citro.
I just say how it is. That's the reason. It's not one or the other. It's both.
Passionate debate here on the Sports Web. You got to love it. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with our newest writer, Joshua Cole Allen. We got Mr. Buzz himself. More Buzz than the Charlotte Hornets, Rick Brown, and, of course, Nick Sitro, our long-lost buddy analyst here from Bucs Report. I definitely look at both sides of it. I was a Winston defender, but the turnover situation definitely killed them. But also the defense the first half of the year wasn't good, and I think that's why Rick is not so optimistic because – which defense are you going to get? Are you going to get that defense in the first half of the year that wasn't good? Or are you going to get that second half defense that really showed up? And I think it's the second half, and I'll tell you why. Because they got rid of a player who didn't have much effort, and that would be Vernon Hargreaves. And after you get rid of a Hargreaves, couldn't tackle anybody, or who couldn't catch a cold, besides the first play of the year where you had the pick 6, you gave those young kids, Rick, the opportunity to basically come in and show themselves. And I think that is the most exciting aspect and also the most underrated aspect of the Bucs in 2020. That defense, especially that back end of that secondary.
Absolutely. You also didn't have JPP as well for the first half of the season. So with JPP there, the young guns those are rookies and second-year players out there. They needed that time to get on the field and come together. And Nick's stat Sitro over there, I know he's got the numbers on where Jamel Dean and Murphy Bunting and Carlton Davis finished with pass breakups at the end of the year after getting more playing time. And I believe two of the 3 were in the top 10 of the year in pass breakups and only played a partial season. So you're looking at these players and you have to think, especially bringing in Antoine Winfield, that defense is going to be better. with JPP healthy, with Vita Vey getting more snaps as Jason Light has said, and getting more involved. Another year of Devin White, not injured, not sick, fully, and the cornerbacks and the young players knowing the system and being able to go out and play freely and not have to worry about, okay, am I supposed to do this right here or that right there? They know the system. They've got it in their head. So I understand exactly why Shaq would say that, that this is a Super Bowl team. You've improved the most important position on there. You have a defense that's young, hungry, and on the rise. And you've improved your running game. You've improved your offensive line. By bringing in Gronk, you've improved your wide receiving core. The only question here left is depth. Do they have the depth to survive injuries, as you were speaking about, Rick, and Matt Gay?
The kicking situation.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, Rick, the secondary, that back end, are you excited about it? I mean, it's a young group. They showed flashes of brilliance, and even Sean Murphy-Bunting admitted in one of his Zoom meetings that the next step for this defense to really step up and take the next step of being a great defense is to cause turnovers. Is that where you see it?
So at first, I was not on the secondary bandwagon. I think I have PTSD from the Mike Smith era of just seeing atrocious defense game in and game out. And I went back and watched the Seahawks game a couple weeks ago where Jamel Dean was just awful. And I'll tell you, I have not seen a Buccaneer player improve that quickly between the Seahawks game and Week 17. I've not seen a Buccaneers player improve that much in about a decade. I mean, I can't think of anyone. He played I think he started 5 games, and he was tied for 4th with pass breakups with 17. Carlton Davis was 2nd with 19. I mean, that is incredible improvement over 6 games or 7 games or whatever it was. And I talked a lot about efficiency metrics in the past. They were 3rd in defensive DVOA, which, it takes each play and kind of ranks you against an average, what happens on average. So it's like 1st and 10, and the average is a 4-yard gain, and you stop them for 2 yards, then it'll increase your percentage. And if in that number weighted towards the end of the season, they were 3rd overall. They were 12th in passing and 1st in rushing. So, I think Todd Bowles is the defensive coordinator to get this team over the hump. And, we saw Mike Smith, 2016, the 5-game winning streak with the defense, and then, 2017, it all fell apart. So, I'm crossing my fingers and hope that's not the case, but
knock on wood. Because Rick knows, and Rick, you definitely have seen that, you experienced that, and we talked about this on a radio station long ago, only about 3 years ago, about the expectations, Hard Knocks, and then Hurricane Irma, and it was a complete disaster. It was not the same defense, but I kind of feel like, once again, that back end, and then also getting JPP back for a full year, and also those young kids learning under Todd Bowles in that second year of the defense is definitely going to help them out big time.
I am one who believes that a second year in a system, you should be better if you put in the same effort, if you put in the same work, if you as an individual improve. The one thing that one of my, no matter what anyone says, one of my all-time favorite coaches has said is stats are for losers. and the reason why he said that is because you can skew stats any way you want to. You know why they were up top or high in pass breakups? Because why the Bucs were number 1 against the run, because people said they don't have to run. They can pass all day on these fools. And they did. And they kept trying them, and they kept passing. And if you keep, a blind squirrel can get a nut every once in a while. They can stumble into a nut. So if you throw at a guy 20 times a game, God forbid if he gives up 20 receptions. So he's going to have some breakups. Having said that, and I'm just skewing.
Yeah.
And I'm just calming everything down.
If you can't run the ball, you have to pass the ball, and no teams couldn't run the ball on that defense last year. So they had nothing better. They had no choice but to throw it. Go ahead, Nick. You want to interject?
Okay, I'll say this. I thought that pass breakups were a stupid stat. It's like, of course, awful cornerbacks are going to get more pass breakups just based on they're going to get the volume. And when I looked at who was number 1 in passes defended. You have Stephon Gilmore up top. You have Carlton Davis 2. Logan Ryan is 3rd. Jair Alexander on the Packers is tied for 4th. Joe Hayden's tied for 4th, and Tre'Davious White is tied for 4th too. Those are all elite corners right there.
Yeah.
So
Elite.
I mean, I agree that you can definitely skew stats how you want, but I think when you dig into them enough, it'll tell you the story, and I think that tells the story right there.
Exactly.
Well, if they improve, Nick, and I'm not just listen. I said that just to try to calm everyone down. Just that they did improve. They did improve the second half, and JPP definitely helped. The pass rush helps the secondary as the secondary helps the pass rush. I believe. So if they continue to improve, if they make a better leap this year, then yeah, they could be dangerous defensively.
And
if they've just been doing what I've been doing this whole COVID season.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
COVID-19 is 19 pounds.
Yeah, then
their social medias, I mean, it looks like they're putting in the work and they're hungry for it. I think they have a better grasp of the playbook. For me, the thing that's lacking there is being on the field and the communication. I know Al's talked about it on the show the other day. You saw sometimes they were kind of pointing their fingers at each other. Whose guy was that? Whose switch was that? So working on the communication is going to be the biggest thing for the secondary. I believe they have it down, the playbook, where they can go out there kind of, freelance a little bit. And Todd Bowles loves to give his players on defense the ability to do that. So knowing the playbook, they can hopefully cause more turnovers, as, Murphy Bunting has spoken on. And I think Antoine Winfield will be huge for that secondary too, because he is an on-field general. That's what he does. He comes up, he calls plays, he recognizes plays. He's a smart player. He's been working on football since he was a kid with his dad, who was, at least a Pro Bowl, if not an all-pro, player in the NFL. So he has that pedigree. He has that knowledge. He's been studying tape. He's been quarantined with his dad, which is only going to improve his ability to grasp the playbook quicker and to get it all down and to work on his timing and everything like that, in my opinion. So I feel like him back there will kind of be able to help ground that secondary a little bit. But communication is something Todd Bowles spoke on in this press conference, and is definitely the key to this team: communication, consistency, and just progressing off what they did last year.
And that's basically what we have here every night on the Sports Weber, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Communication, consistency. It's the evolution of sports talk television. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Joshua Cole, Allen, newest writer here on Bucs Report. We have Mr. Buzz himself, more Buzz than the Charlotte Hornets, Mr. Rick Brown. And, of course, we got Nick Sitro, our long-lost friend, the analyst here for Bucs Report.
No glasses.
It's been like it's been 2 weeks. What do you mean?
Glasses. Sans glasses.
2 weeks. So there you go. All right.
Sharp.
Let's go out to the web heads. 4 wide receiver sets need lots of practice to get the timing down between wide receivers and quarterbacks. Do we all agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to get the timing down, and hopefully the COVID measures let up so they can actually do that. Yes. We saw the Brady practice. What was it, 2 weeks ago, I think, or a couple weeks ago, where they got some on-field work, but they need to be. It's one thing to do it, at a unorganized practice with Brady or whatever it is. It's another thing to have the coaches there teaching guys, okay, you're supposed to step here, do this. So I'm hoping that they can, by July get that rolling, because there's a lot of new pieces on this offense.
Yes, definitely. And you hope that they're still out there practicing, but to hear that July 21st is the date, with not much wiggle room, maybe more practices added, but for the most part, it's going to be July 21st. So we're talking still another month and a half before they all get together to come together as a team, as an assembled practice and not an unorganized practice. Not that it's unorganized, but unorganized by the team, and still with a lot of guys out of town, not available to play, and the offense is mostly just doing work against themselves and not really against cornerbacks and stuff and defensive line. It's kind of just to get on the same page. That's going to hinder them a little bit. But I feel like I said earlier, with the rookies who haven't gotten, who've missed out on those 400 snaps, they're going to be staying after practice late. A lot of players have actually complained about the lack of practices. Some of the older guys obviously like it, but some of the younger guys and some of the guys who are trying to improve on their craft and make a name for themselves, each year it seems like the NFL cuts down on how many padded practices and how many practices you can have in general, and that's become a hindrance too. But I see a lot of guys staying after on their own to kind of work together to make up some of that time lost. So it should be interesting to see.
Rick, really quick, do you feel like the offense could start out slow at the beginning of the year where this defense would have to carry them? And do you feel like this defense could carry them in those games?
If the defense improves like everyone thinks they will, I think they will. They may have to, only because of the lack of continuity that the offense has right now.
Mm.
But you just never know. You do have a veteran at QB and someone who's been through a lot of things. So maybe he can get them all together to come together. But the offensive line, you need snaps, you need work. You need to know what the guy next to you is going to do at all times. That could be a problem.
Absolutely.
The new running backs, if
Right.
they get another guy, that continuity will be missing though.
I think the other surprising thing from the BA presser was that he was kind of talking about guys that he would be interested in signing, role players, special teamers, guys that understand the NFL that could come in right away, plug and play. Nick, who do you see out there? Give me some players or give me some idea. Is it a Clay Matthews? Is somebody like that can come in right away and you plug and play and they contribute just like that?
I'm going to give you kind of a cop-out answer, but I think it's the real answer is that there is nobody on the market right now that's going to sign with this team. They're going to wait until 90-man roster cuts happen, and then they're going to make a move.
Yeah.
Once they sign all their draft picks, they have $400,000 left. I mean, that's an estimated number. It's something around that.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing. I mean, you can't even sign someone to a vet minimum contract. That's $1.1 million with the money they have left. So they're not bringing anyone in until the 90-man roster cuts. Maybe they sign a rookie that they can sign for whatever the minimum is. I think I don't even know what the rookie minimum is. It was $250,000 or something like that. But still, I know you guys already talked about Devonta Freeman. I don't even know what he was asking, but if it's anything over $1 or $2 million, it's not going to happen. I think he was asking $4 million from the Seahawks. They have no money unless they make moves. I mean,
they offered him $4 million. He said, turn it down.
Yeah.
And who is going to take another restructure like Cam Brate did? I mean, Mike Evans, he already did one, I think, a couple years ago. Brady's not going to do it. He just signed here. I mean, Donovan Smith's probably not. He's probably out the door next year. So, I mean, there's guys you can cut, but yeah, I mean, he's gone.
If you give Donovan Smith a little bit more guaranteed money, that might be an option. But I believe I saw it the other day on the cap. It's actually at 6.4. So I mean, I think I thought I was around 4, but if it's at 6.4 and your rookies cost about 4, that gives you $2 million to play with. And I don't feel like there's anyone out there right now that he wants to sign like a Clay Matthews. I think he's looking more towards younger guys or career special teamers. Like he said he feels they're pretty good on O-line. Running back, they're always looking to improve, especially if they're healthy and the price is right. But he's more looking for inside, outside, D-line, safety, special teams players that can come in and that know how to practice as professionals and play a role on special teams, because that's where he feels they need to get better at, especially kick returner and punt returner. So I feel like if there's a guy out there at running back position or a guy out there at safety who has experience returning punts and kicks, and I feel like Clay's going to get every opportunity to kind of win that job from Logan. I think that's where you're looking at now. And as Nick also said, 90-man roster cuts. If you cut someone like Griffin, if you cut some of these other players, on the back end, MJ Stewart, who's making a couple $1 million on his, third year, Ryan Griffin, that opens up that cap space, to give you more opportunities to grab those players. Everyone knows that once you at the 90-man cut roster, your rosters are never set in stone. They're never there. It's always fluctuating with waiver pickups, veteran releases, cuts like that, surprise cuts. You can get a guy cheaper. So I think, as Nick said, they're waiting for that to maybe make a depth move on defensive end or outside linebacker or one of these positions that we think they're kind of short at. But I do see them going out there and potentially bringing in, because you said him and Light have made a concentrated effort to leave a couple spots open on the roster. So I do see them bringing, some veterans for price-wise, cheap contracts in to come and, practice and, potentially carve out a role in special teams.
Rick, you like a Clay Matthews for the right price? You like him as a depth piece or using him as a rotational piece for this defense?
Veterans, guys who have been there, but guys who have gone through practices, guys who have, who don't need a lot of teaching. Those are guys who Bruce Arians would like to have right now. And in this environment, but you know what, guys, he's not the only one. I'm sure there's 28 other teams who are thinking the same thing,
right?
So who may be in better cap space than the Bucs are. So yeah, I mean, he would be good. He would be a nice guy on the team, but we won't know right now. It's going to be a while before, as Josh said, before this roster is set. And even after the final cuts, the roster won't be set because it's constantly changing. So.
Exactly.
I think it comes down to the Brady effect. That's what I'm looking at, guys. And I think guys will come in and take less money because they want to play with Tom Brady, and they feel like Tampa does have a legitimate shot to not only go to the playoffs but also win a Super Bowl. Just saying. And I know what you're saying, Rick. I'm going off the deep end here and all this other stuff. What's new? I've done it before. I'll do it again.
I'll say this about the cap, though. It's not as simple as just cutting someone without guaranteed money, because you have to take in the top 51 players. So let's say they cut, I don't know, Ryan Griffin, $1.6 million. You have at the bottom of the roster, Kazan Daniels is making $675,000. You have to subtract him because now he'll get bumped to the lower 50 or whatever it's called. He's not in the top 51 anymore. So they're really only saving $900,000. It's a lot more tricky than in the regular season. When you have 90 players, only the top 51 actually count. So while you might go to a website and say, oh, look, they have $5 million, they can sign whoever they want. They still got to sign Tristan Wirfs, that's about $3 million. They got to sign Antoine Winfield. That's about 1.3. All the other rookies are about 600,000. And you do save a little bit there because you're kicking people out of the top 51. And that comes down to, you have pennies left for NFL contract standards. I still think Will Golston, $4.75 million. He makes the most sense to be cut to me. Or Ryan Griffin, 1.6. None of that's guaranteed. You can save upwards of $6 million with just those two combined. I know a lot of people like Will Golston and think he had a good season, but if you can sign someone like a Clay Matthews and trade him for Will Golston, would you make that deal?
Oh, what about Everson Griffin? I mean, he's out there.
That's what I'm saying. Everson Griffin. I mean, you look at it, it's we're 5 days into June, and the names that are out there are still Logan Ryan, Everson Griffin, Jadeveon Clowney, Devonta Freeman. All these guys are still out there. Not that I think they could all come here, but I'm just saying there's a lot of guys and there's a lot of movement still to happen. And we're, a month and a half before training camp starts league wide. So there's a lot of things that can, happen before then with players getting cut, starting training camp. Maybe, a team cuts somebody. Will Golston, I could see him as a restructure rather than a straight up release. I don't really see who we have or who the Buccaneers have to replace him with right now if you do let him go. So it's a tricky situation with the cap, as Nick said. Top 51 only counts, so you're not saving money if you cut a lower minimum guy. It doesn't go right to the cap. But I think there's ways that they can manipulate the cap, moving guaranteed money around and stuff like that they could make it work if they wanted to. But I don't see it happening for any high-priced guys like that. trust me, I would love to see Everson Griffin in a Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniform this year.
I agree. I think a Jadeveon Clowney would be so interesting. I kind of wonder, Rick, who he will sign with. Who do you think he'll sign with? There's talk about Tennessee. He turned down a deal with Cleveland. Philadelphia has been talked about. What does Clowney want besides the obvious $18 to $20 million? And there's no guarantee he's going to get that. So is he looking not only for big-time money, but a situation where he can win now?
I think he wants the money first. I honestly do. And I think he's really backing himself in the corner because while he's been decent, he hasn't been that number one overall player. And
Right.
he's not going to, he doesn't deserve what he's asking for. So unless he dials it back and really wants to be a part of something special, he's just going to float out there.
Yeah. I mean, and I think he's still talented, but you're exactly right. He's been inconsistent at times, but because the market is so plentiful for defensive players, he looks at the market at 18 to 20 million. That's where you kind of start. But to me, I think Shaq is making less money than Jadeveon Clowney, and most likely Shaq should be making more money than Clowney because even though the 1 year, his production has been better than Clowney's was in the last couple of years. Just my opinion.
Shaq Barrett is making $9 million less than he should be. The tag is he's only making $15 million with the franchise tag. He should be making $24-25 million. So that saved them a lot. Without that, you're not getting Gronk.
No, you're exactly.
There's also the chance that they agree to a long-term contract extension, before training camp starts, and that frees up some money too because you can, push some of that money out into later years of the contract. As for Jadeveon, I keep hearing the Titans, and it just looking at it, it just makes too much sense, to put him on that team. But we'll see with him. I would love to have him on the team as well, but he's not going to take anywhere near a team-friendly contract to come here.
No, I don't see it either. All right, let's go back out to the webheads, read some more comments, and then we'll get you guys out of here. Thanks a lot for being on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Joshua Cole Allen, newest writer here on Bucs Report. We got Mr. Buzz, more Buzz than the Charlotte Hornets, Mr. Rick Brown, and, of course, Nick Sitro, our analyst here for Bucs Report. 12 PA with Gronk, Godwin, and Evans. So scary, but will they have a run game? That's been the big conversation there. 48 is not enough. Should be a minimum 62. Remembering,
I definitely see him approaching that. If everything pans out, he can approach that record. I can see it happening. I'm not going to shy away from that stance at all either.
You mean with the throwing touchdowns?
Yeah, the touchdown record. Yeah, beat Peyton Manning's record. Yeah.
Leo feels like, Rick, that he's not going to even get 40 touchdowns because they're going to be a more balanced attack with the run game. So I don't know what
40 touchdowns in one season.
Yeah.
Are we talking multiple? No way. There's no chance. Are you guys kidding me?
I'm taking
40 touchdowns.
No, Leo's saying
No way.
Leo's saying under. He's saying that Brady's not going to throw for 40 touchdowns, may not even be 30 touchdowns because they're going to try to be a balanced offense and a balanced attack.
40 touchdowns, there's no chance. 30 touchdowns, I mean, I'd probably see 25 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
I mean, you got the backs to throw to. You got all these guys with the ability to get yak, red zone opportunity. This offense could be more prolific than the 2007 Patriots. They could score more points than it as well. It's a possibility. He's never played with weapons like this before. If the line comes together, if the defense does what they should do and, create the turnovers we're talking about to get them the ball back more. Absolutely. I could see, them playing with shorter fields and scoring more touchdowns than they did last year. Of course.
Isn't the record 45 Peyton Manning, or what was it? It was 55.
55 by Manning, is it not? Manning has.
It is, yeah. I'm looking, and Brady had 50 in 07 with Randy Moss.
With Randy Moss.
And I think that he's got better weapons than Manning did when he had Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, and stuff like that. So I mean, it could happen. We won't know, but I mean,
I just don't think they're going to want to throw that much. I mean,
it depends on the progression of the running backs. If they don't work out, then you're stuck throwing the ball. as much as you can, because you have the wide receivers. I mean, obviously they want the running game to improve, but if the running game doesn't work out, what are you going to do? Force the running game when you can just you can go to 12 personnel and pick your poison, who you're going to throw it to. The guys all have yak ability to get to the end zone after making the catch. I mean, it's not likely, but definitely a possibility. I mean, with all the weapons that are on this team, it could definitely happen.
It could definitely happen, but I don't. I mean, they're going to shave 200 attempts off from Jameis Winston last year at least, and I see probably high 20s and 5 interceptions for Brady stat line. I just don't see a scenario where he's going to throw for 40 touchdowns unless they have to throw 650 times, and if that's the case, then Brady's going to be, on the bench with a sling in his arm because he's going to be getting killed.
Knock on wood when you say that, Nick Sitro. And Rick, I kind of agree with Nick on that. You don't want to throw the ball that much because they do have all these weapons, but there is questions about the offensive line. With that being said, if this offense does stall, could you see, Rick, Bruce Arians taking over the play calling from Byron Leftwich?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Without a doubt. I think if this offense is sluggish, Byron should be looking over his shoulder. And I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. So yeah, I can see it happening, no doubt.
The Giants game was one of the worst. The Giants game, I wanted to take my TV and just throw it in the trash. That play calling was so infuriating; it drove me insane. But yeah, we're just gonna we'll just run it 3 times, punt it. We have a big lead; it doesn't matter. Next thing you know, everyone's walking into the locker room with tears in their eyes. So. Well,
the defense couldn't get off the field. I mean, it's the first play of the game, and you got Evan Ingram going for like 75 yards, not being touched. I mean, that right.
Hey, I didn't. Listen. I didn't say the defense wasn't the reason. The kicker was also the reason. Right. The play calling was awful. It was awful.
Right, but imagine having Al Keck sitting right next to you. You're sitting there, and you know what I'm talking about, Rick, having that big time smile that I get at halftime. Oh, the Bucs are leading 28-10. Basically, this game is over. And Al Keck, Al goes, "You don't watch this team that much with their defense. They the first play of the half, the first drive, they got to stop somebody, and then maybe you call it a day." And sure enough, the first play of the second half, Al Keck was right. That's why he's the sports talk legend in Tampa Bay here. Evan Ingram goes for 75 yards untouched, and it was a different game after that because it gave the momentum, and the defense, like Rick said, had no answer for a rookie quarterback in Daniel Jones and his first start. I mean, defense is predicated on stopping rookie starters. That's what Bucs defense is. That defense last year couldn't stop anybody in the first half of the year. Could not.
Do you remember the Rams game, the game after? I mean, what was it? What were we up 20, 25 points? I was not confident they were going to win that game. And then, of course, they come back. It's a 1-possession game. And the only reason it was a 2-score game was the scoop and score. So, I mean, I think they were up, 25 points? I was like, this game is not over. I've watched enough Bucs games to know, 56-0 on Thursday Night Football in Atlanta. It's never over until the final whistle blows with this team. So you learn that the hard way.
Yeah. Oh, look at all the gray hair that I got on my head.
And to touch on the Bruce Arians thing about the play calling, it's like putting candy in front of a 5-year-old and saying, all right, don't touch this. With all the weapons that he has, he's going to want to get his hands on that offense at some point, even if it's, just kind of splitting play calling or just like, not Byron, let's go with this call instead. He's going to be having his hands on that offense. And whether it's, 5 games, 4 games, 10 games, he's going to have his fingerprints all over that offense at some time because it's just too exciting not to. It's right there tantalizing you. The best offense, the best quarterback that he's ever had, he's going to want to get on that. So
I had to look this up. It was, sorry to interrupt you. It was 45-27 with 11 minutes and 35 seconds left in the fourth quarter in LA. 3 minutes go by. 3 minutes go by. The score is 45-40.
Oh.
I mean, and then I think it's just punt, and then the scoop and score eventually. Or Matt Gay kicks a field goal, then the scoop and score. So
that was the throw.
Yeah,
by Winston, right? On the
what was that?
That was the pick six thrown by Winston that got them back in the game, right?
It was a pick six, and I think they scored before that too. I can't remember exactly, but I'm happy
They lost
to
that game
have
because of
everyone
that pick
relive
six
all these
penalty.
awful memories.
What now?
They lost that game, right?
No, they won that game.
The pick
So
six
the pick
always
six
blend
didn't-
together.
Well, I'm
sorry.
just saying. I mean, it was there. It got them back in the game, but it wasn't the reason. But you kind of think about Byron Leftwich. You feel like going into this second year of the offense that he'll be a better play caller, right, Rick?
Yeah, I mean, he had a little bit of because this was his first full season doing it, and now he's comfortable with the players. He knows the players, so he should be better. Also, he should be more comfortable. Also, but there's going to be a lot more pressure, and I think this offense is changing a little bit this year because of 1-2 coming in. Is helping to put in stuff that he likes.
Exactly.
So that should be an interesting dynamic to see their relationship and if they're on the same page. Because I think if they're on the same page, then Bruce can just sit back and just relax. But if there's any friction or even just a tad bit of disagreement, then I can see Bruce coming in and saying, okay, let's go.
Yeah, okay. Let me go play with my toys here. All right, let's go out to the web heads here, see what they have to say here on the evolution. Remember,
Just one more thing on that, Peter. Sorry. Bruce Arians said yesterday, too, that, he was most excited to see Tom Brady, at making audible system, checks with me, making different calls at the line, something that they didn't do a lot last year and couldn't do a lot last year. So Tom will have, even though Byron's calling the plays in, Tom's going to have a lot more control of that offense because he's such a smart player that when he goes in the field, he's scanning the field within seconds and is making the reads and making the adjustments and can just, call out line changes, call out audibles, call out things like that to get them in a better play. So it's going to be, Tom Brady's offense, Bruce Arians' offense, Byron Leftwich. It's going to be all, convoluted together. And, he's also excited to see the no huddle stuff because that's something that Tom Brady's excelled at. The New England Patriots have practiced and preached situational football for years now. So he's got all this experience in that. So when it does come down to that, where Byron, had a decent career as an NFL player and, has a promising career as an offensive coordinator and possible head coach, Bruce Arians has all his experience as well. Tom Brady has it on the field. So they'll probably defer to him on a lot of those plays in situational because he's going to be the one on the field seeing these things and being able to call the best matchups and the best plays that he sees and he feels are necessary, to win the game and to go ahead and, get the first down and make the play.
All right, good stuff. Remember getting like 16 picks from the Dolphins and doing nothing with it. I mean, Saints, Bill Belichick has more to prove than Tom Brady. FAMU, best drum line in college, says Johnny Dean. Josh is staying. He's staying.
Don't go anywhere, John.
An hour ago.
I like Rick's take, says Keith here. Ben, doesn't Jordan Reed come already injured in the package? Good question. Rob is the GOAT. Let's see here, Benji. Like, how many Stone Cold came with a six-pack? GOAT. William says that would suck if they don't play. My Reds are finally in contention, and now they won't play. Go figure. AJ Job says, are we talking about Jordan Reed? We were before. Let's see. Tony G, best tight end ever. Fight me. Yaj says Kelsey's better, but that's my opinion. Benji says grow up. Kelsey or Gronk in their prime, it's not close. Gronk by a mile, but his only fault was injuries. AJ says a defense consider playing nickel against 12 personnel. William Romer disappointing.
Good luck.
Gronk's best highlight against Washington, which, right, by the way, he did have one of his best games against Washington, and D'Angelo Hall is talking crap about it. I don't understand.
Everybody's best highlight was against Washington.
That's it. There we go. Exactly. Not a great defense. But they're building a great defense there. I really think they're going to be something special with Chase Young and both of those two guys in the middle from Alabama. Everyone is talking the Bucs, the Patriots, but I have a lot more players than that. We did sign two of their greatest players. Johnny Dean, Gronk's best highlight is getting doubled when everyone knew he was injured. That's respect. Deshaun, I think we have to go tight ends era or style pass catching. Tight ends are blocking all around. Johnny's posted a link. I don't know what that's to, but go ahead and check
Tony
it out.
Gonzalez. He's trying to.
Ben says, listen, a kicker has one job, and I'm not excusing Matt Gay and all of the other kickers for their issues, but the Bucs wouldn't have to rely on their kicker so much. The offense could execute better in the red zone. I don't think you're trolling at that point. That's a very good comment. Let's go, says Jeffrey. There you go. 978. Freeman reminds me of Ward Dunn. I wouldn't go too far with that.
Pretty good comparison.
Well, good comparison, but Dunn could stay healthy. Freeman could not.
Dunn is more shifty, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think more explosive too, especially in that second or third level. Okay, Rick says AJ Rojo stinks. Says AJ again. TB12 radio. I don't know what that is. Wasn't it Freeman?
We're talking about Brady.
Wasn't it Freeman that missed the block on Hightower in the Super Bowl? Was it him?
Mr.
Was.
What does he mean, Mr. Black? Hold on. Wait a minute. Mr. Black. What do you mean?
Missed the block on.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Let's go, Rick.
It's not the time for that, Rick. Now.
Hot knowledge and good work ethic, working hard to all get all these interviews. Awesome job, bud. Thanks a lot, Bucky. Appreciate you. I'm just going to call you Bucky from now on. Joshua,
go ahead.
More scoops than a bag of Fritos. I like
barbecue.
Well, I like, what's it called? Chili and cheese.
Chili? Oh, yeah, those are good too.
Chili and cheese Fritos, Rick Brown?
No.
Oh, we got the mask on.
Yeah, cool.
I can't even see. What is that on the front? I can't even see it.
I can. Let's see it. Oh, there it is. That's FMU right there. FAMU. All right. Nick Citro, chili and cheese Fritos.
Never had them, but I'd probably like them.
Yeah, you should try them.
Barbecue twists, man. Honey barbecue twists.
I like the chili and cheese. I've had those forever. I love those.
Tony Gonzalez is also the best tight end of all time, so I'm going to stir the pot a little bit with that one.
Stir it up. Let's drop a beat, Mr. Brown. Hey, Keith. There you go, Jeffrey Burler. +2. Let's see. Dylan says plus Freeman will have a smaller role than Rojo. Josh, the best. Number 1. Dylan says, and Vaughn splitting carries with him, which will hopefully help him stay healthy. Best fit for him out there if he will take the pay cut. But that's the biggest question. Will Freeman take the pay cut? He may sit out. There's a possibility, and there's a rumor that he could sit out the 2020 season.
That'd be a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
Yeah, me too. I think it would be a huge.
Look at Le'Veon Bell.
I
get Melvin Gordon.
I like those numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely killing it, Josh, says Dylan. Stay hydrated, Josh. No baseball would be one small bright spot for me in this awful year, says Johnny Dean, the professor. Not a baseball fan at all. When you talk baseball, Johnny Dean, he basically logs off. Johnny, couldn't resist, could you? AJ says, bring back the Ned Shark hairdo buck. What's that all about?
Ned Stark. What? You Game of Thrones?
I had long hair down on my shoulders about a year and a half ago.
You've never what?
I've never
seen that before.
I've never seen.
Really?
Sorry, I've never seen.
Peter, what are you doing? Doesn't eat veggies in his omelets. Hasn't seen Game of Thrones.
Hasn't seen Tiger King. Come on, man.
I got all twisted.
Rick, let me settle this right now. Are you eating veggies in your omelet or not?
Who are you
I'm
asking?
not even eating an omelet, so why are you asking me that question?
You have an omelet. You have bacon and cheese. I'm not going to eat any vegetables. Why am I getting up to eat vegetables in the morning? Tell me. Tell me.
The Philly steak and cheese omelet with some onions and peppers in there.
Little sauteed onions, put little peppers on top. You're not going to eat a Philly cheesesteak like that?
I just no. I want my Philly cheesesteak very simple. Steak and cheese.
Steak and cheese.
With a little A1 maybe, okay? That's all I want.
A1? Yeah. That's a disgrace to steak. You put that on your filet too?
Yeah.
If it's not cooked right.
That's it. There you go. Let's see. Let me see here. Has anyone noticed Peter H. Blake has a new chair? that
looking
It's
sharp.
so smooth. That chair is so smooth.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
What you do with your old one?
Threw it outside because every time I sat on it, I had to put it up, put it down, put it up, and it kept on going down during the show. So when I teaser, it would go down, and I'd be like, "Oh, I got to raise it up. Sorry, let me raise my chair up." A complete idiot. Again, people think I was a complete idiot anyway, but no, there. Scally Capin. I don't know what that's about. Minas
Brazilians.
Oh, okay. Joshua Cole, Allen, get him. Ben Cornett. Damn, Rick, listen, you don't have to remind us about last time the Bucs made the playoffs. Peter has yet to go through puberty since the last time the Bucs played a playoff game.
Wow.
I did not go through puberty. That is a fact. That was what, 12?
Look, you're making me already feel old here, Nick Sitro, but you, Ben Cornett, are the troll of the night. Trolling at 1,000 from Los Angeles. Thanks a lot, buddy. You're not getting a Christmas card from me. Nick explained the bracket, a four-way. Peter is getting too comfy in his new
this is Friday night.
Nitro Nick, that's his name there, Rick. You like that? Nitro Nick from Monday Night Nitro?
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I still think Rick has the best nickname out of everyone.
Mr. Buzz.
Or Buzz in the Charlotte Hornets. That's the best one.
Yeah, do we tell
you don't like it?
No, it's a long story, and we're not going to get into that.
I think
tonight.
it's cool.
It's not that long of a story. We were on some podcast.
Okay, so what we're saying is Johnny Dean, Tony G over Gronk for me because Tony G is in the Hall of Fame. So okay,
Gronk will be there too.
He's not there yet.
That's a poor excuse. You know Gronk's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
All right. Johnny Dean says,
how many Super Bowls does Tony Gonzalez have?
All right.
Oh, don't bring.
Oh, really? So you have to be in the Super Bowl, win Super Bowl rings to be considered the best. And that's
Dan Marino would.
What about Kellen Winslow? Winslow.
Bill Russell's better than Michael Jordan
that I've ever seen in my life.
Championships.
Right.
I will challenge you.
Peter's lost control.
I will raise that comment with Dan Marino. Dan Marino's arguably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. The skills, the stats, the everything that he brings to the table. He never won it. That's why he's not mentioned with the Joe Montanas and the Peyton Mannings and the Tom Brady's and up in those top three positions. That's why he's not there.
Hey, look, Dan Fouts was better than Marino.
I mean, you'll have a hard time finding many people who agree with you on that.
I don't care about many people. I said from what I've seen, from my eyes, But Joe Montana is the best quarterback to me of all time.
All right, Rick. LeBron or Jordan?
Oh, what are we doing?
Let's do it because best virtual edits video.
That's what I knew you were getting to him, Peter.
All the time he says LeBron is the greatest. Come on, settle the debate here, Rick Brown. What does it say? 23. Okay, well,
doesn't mean anything.
Jordan. That's Jordan.
Yeah, but doesn't LeBron wear 23 too?
And
yeah, he does.
And the reason why he wore 23, guys?
Which 23 then?
Michael Jordan. There you go. That's why he's the greatest. What does he wear? Jordans. Does anybody wear LeBrons? No. Who's the greatest? Michael Jordan.
Kid has a pair of LeBrons.
It's so easy.
So.
Young kids try to make this so difficult. It's not that difficult. Stop trying to make it difficult. You know, as the young kids would stay in your lane. Here on the I'm your host, along with Joshua Cole, Allen, our newest writer, Mr. Buzz himself, Rick Brown, and our.
Listen, we weren't all alive to watch Wilt Chamberlain in his prime, Peter. Okay.
You know what?
Wow.
I'm not ready to put you in the lobby. Okay.
Peter was courtside for Russell.
Look, the greatest era of basketball is the Jordan era. Period. It's not even.
Listen, I don't really care about the Jordan LeBron debate.
Hold up. Stop. Pause.
Hammer time?
No. The greatest era in basketball was the Jordan era, as he said.
Oh, absolutely.
Artists that came out of there, especially towards the 90s.
Era, the decade. Well, Jordan came in the 80s. So
like 87 to 97, 88 to 90.
Listen, all right.
Yeah.
Kobe, Pierce, Tracy McGrady,
Magic.
Grant Hill, all those players came in. Reggie Miller, while still having Jordan, Barkley, Shaq, Magic, Larry, Scotty. I mean,
Larry Bird,
98
and Dr. J, Julius Irving,
yeah,
helped raise basketball to a level. They got basketball from being the playoff games being taped on tape delay to being on live TV. After the Olympics, Mike took it to another level.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's era was good, but I can't take away from what the boys did before he arrived. So I disagree.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Well, I would still agree that both of those eras were better than the basketball today because you can't even touch. I mean, there's no defense. You're shooting threes all the time. The players can't play defense because they're soft as Charmin. I mean, LeBron James were in the era of Jordan. He would get beaten down by the.
No. Oh, don't even go there.
Why? Let me tell
you. I'm on Peter's side there.
He would have been fine.
Let me tell you why.
Flop artist.
He wouldn't have joined the Miami Heat because he was getting his brains beaten out every year by the Boston Celtics with their team and how physical they were. They could not get over the top. That's why he made his own super team in Miami. And that's why I'm not a LeBron fan.
That jersey disgusts me.
I'm just...
it disgusts me too. It's Kyrie Irving.
All right. Kobe Bryant, I'll give you. He's the closest thing to Jordan. LeBron, no. Sorry. All right. Let's get back to football here. Sorry, guys. We had to have a little thank you, Rick Brown. I've been trying to get Peter H. Blake to pump those brakes for a year now. It's not going to be pumped. Sorry. My pedal is to the metal. Sports Web says Shooty shoots. Nick, the analyst. Wow, that's an interesting one. Ben Cornett, last year Peter would have ripped Joshua if he spoke negatively about Jameis. More bad than good. Pat Winston was blind, throwing out there, hoping one of his wide receivers was there. I don't know.
Technically, he was blind.
LASIK.
Jeez.
Why wait till now to get LASIK? You've had the money since your rookie year.
Because this is the doctor explanation, guys. Joshua, he cannot get that procedure until he was 25. He tried to get it in Tallahassee when he was younger, couldn't do it. So his doctors had him wait till.
Listen, the LASIK got nothing to do with interceptions. What is he trying to read the little E on the board? He's throwing to people who are 6'7". Get out of here.
I couldn't read the difference in the jerseys. I don't know.
All I know is watching this team for a long time, there have been quarterbacks that have absolutely sucked here and have gone to other places and have done tremendous things. And I think that's in the back of a lot of Bucs fans' minds. But at this point,
absolutely,
it's about winning now with Tom Brady. But people are going to be watching Jameis Winston. And if Jameis Winston doesn't do anything, those fears will be okay. But if he does, then you're going to hear, well, there's another quarterback that went somewhere and won a playoff game or was successful and won a Super Bowl like a Steve Young, like a Doug Williams, like a Trent Dilfer. And Trent Dilfer won it in the Bucs stadium. That right there. Love Tony Dungy. But at that point, the Glazers were like, you don't win, you're fired, because it was embarrassing. I mean, it was completely embarrassing. I get it was the defense, but still, it's Trent Dilfer winning it in your home stadium. Bucs fans are like, oh, shaking my head. All right, enough of me whining here. Let's go out to the webheads. Winston couldn't read a defense yet. Ben says, sorry, Rick, but Jameis was a part of the reason the Bucs lost those close games. Shooty Shoot says, 2 all-pro wide receivers. Rick, please, dear God, no more Winston debates. Well, just for you, Rick, we're definitely going to have a couple more. But, Rick, I love you from Atlanta. Rick, I have to disagree. Jameis put the Bucs defense in horrible position.
Right there.
Angel, you now have Brady, Gronk, and most importantly, Joshua Cole-Allen. The team will do well. Good stuff, Angel. Thanks a lot for playing. The Jameis effect is giving hope the chance to win.
Old girlfriend, Josh?
Maybe. He's a man, but maybe.
New girlfriend.
Hey.
Alex Fleming, what about the missed kicks? Absolutely. We talked about the missed kicks. Johnny Dean, 15 interceptions in the Bucs' own territory. Ben Cornett, Alex Fleming, just as important. Christopher, don't forget the kicking game. Johnny Dean, how many times did the same defense keep teams from touchdowns, even though they had short fields. So consider that as well. Good point. Vernon Hemorrhoids. Great. Ben, you're on a roll tonight. You really are. You're full of it. JPP and getting Hargraves out of there was huge. Pressure up front helps the secondary immensely. Russ, Hargraves is a good athlete. Not sure why he wouldn't play hard for the Bucs.
No prank calls for tonight. That's kind of,
Hargraves is an athletic freak, just a lot of other issues.
Yep. Well, the Bucs lack depth at many positions. I love the Bucs. Hope to get a wild card. Johnny Dean, the youngsters are going to bring it tonight. Rick Brown.
They are.
Pat says, 4 guys, 1 podcast. Let me go ahead and introduce you to the evolution. This is not a podcast, sir. And I'll tell you why it's not a podcast. Because in your face, 65,000 following on Facebook. Not only on Facebook, but YouTube and also Twitter. It becomes a podcast, but you can watch it live. Podcasts are recorded, sir. Podcasts can be edited. There is nothing that can be edited. It is live. It is in your face. If I screw up, if Joshua Cole Allen screws up, if Rick Brown screws up, if anybody on the show, Nick Sitro screws up, you're going to know it. On a podcast, it's totally different. Is it a TV show? Is it a radio show? It's the evolution of sports talk television. There you go. That's what you say, podcast. Yeah, that's right. There you go.
I had myself muted for like 5 minutes here. Talking out Wednesday. It's like, sound is out. I'm like, whoops.
The bad thing is the Bucs can't afford to sign anybody. We talked about that. Best virtual edits video. Bruce said he prefers vets over undrafted rookies this year because they already are practiced.
Acclimated.
Yes, good. Look at our comments, Peter. I am. We are the webheads. You are. You can win with Misfits if they do their job and give 100%. Johnny Dean says the Bucs have the strongest linebacking core in the NFL. Why would they spend money on that spot? In case what Rick said and everybody said on this panel, you have an injury, you want somebody to back up. Imagine being a fan of that team, Rick. Laugh out loud.
What team? What team?
I think Best Virtual Edits video like to. Shaking my head, Nick, Golston and Matthews play different positions. Not only that, Williams is a starter and played pretty solid. Pat says, who wants to be in Cleveland? I don't know if anybody does, but they are a coming team, you would think. Clowney going to the Redskins. They're winning a chip, right, Rick? The Rick.
I think they might need a few more Clownies if that's going to happen.
Can someone sign Cam?
Bunch of clowns.
It's Cam. Yeah. Well, sometimes they troll. The trolls do come out at night. Can someone sign Cam Newton?
Yeah, he's still out there.
Casey and Daniels is currently listed as the backup to JPP.
Don't sleep on Quentin Bell.
Okay. Mike Glennon can get paid, but Cam can't. Well, Napoleon Dynamite is, he's raking it in. I'd rather have J.J. Watt than Clowney. Best virtual edits video is crying of laughter. Any word on Justin Evans? We know any
crickets
here about Justin Evans. It's the greatness of Justin Evans, and I feel like he's going to be out of this equation unless he can stay healthy and prove himself, because the Bucs really feel good about that safety position.
It's one thing to hear. It's one thing to hear. Okay, he's gone. His injury, his season's over, or he's progressing. I've heard nothing. I don't think anyone's heard anything on Justin Evans. I don't know what is going on.
Nothing.
Light mentioned him earlier in the year in one of his press conferences, I believe about a month ago, and said, he's rehabbing and trying to do everything he can to, get back onto this, to be able to play for this team. So he's not ruling him out, but I mean, at this point, who knows really what's going to happen with him.
All right, here's a comment. Best virtual edits video. Peter, I've seen you at Chuck E. Cheese. Why my secret? This is why I do the sports web. I also go to Chuck E. Cheese, entertain kids. Not really. You're a jerk. You won't get 40. Best virtual edits video. Rick, why do you look like that? We got weapons all over that Joker. Brady throwing exactly 29 touchdowns. Bet money. Over under 29 touchdowns. Go.
Push.
Oh, man.
Over. And I'll bet wings. We don't bet money. We bet wings on this show.
Okay.
I'll say under at 28.
Okay. All right. I'm saying over 30. I'm saying it. Jay Coleman. But
I'm with you.
I said 33 touchdowns from Winston last year. Okay, but I didn't think he had the 30 interceptions. Just saying. Okay, Nick Citro, Peyton threw 55 with fewer weapons. Best virtual edits video. Rojo probably watching like, damn, can I get a full season to play? I mean, Kicking woes will continue at Ray J. Best virtual edits video. You are downer tonight. Don't say that.
Yeah.
Hey, best virtual edits video. You are on fire.
Don't encourage him.
And 2019, Brady threw the ball 613 times. Jameis threw it 626, I believe. Bruh, it's a Bucs life. Russ Lawson says Jones is no joke. He will be a great quarterback in the league. Damn, I had to bring up that Falcons game. Damn, that hurt deep. But damn, Atlanta still ain't got no Chip. Thank you, Chip. So there you go.
28-3. Their best virtual edits video.
Peter,
a little trolling of my own.
Listen to this. Peter, get us involved. I got you involved. There you go, webheads. Even the Super Bowl wasn't over until Brooks's INT. Super Bowl was over. Sorry. Yes, then Donovan Smith almost killed Marcus Peters. Laugh out.
Almost. He destroyed him.
Yeah. Best blocking by him in that game, gotta say. Leftwich was a better play caller than Cutter. That's
not saying much.
God, I can't wait to see Brady change the snap count. So tired of Sunday set hut. Okay.
Agree.
Bring Jameis 101, whatever his name is, on here next week. I want to hear his voice since he can't voice it on Twitter. I want to hear him. We may get him on here eventually. We always like to stir it up here on the Sports Web. Jameis seemed to do well in no huddle in 2 minutes, but they always went on one. I never understood why. Best virtual edits video missed the wow. You don't normal when you're hungry. I'm not normal right now. Peter, send me a 6-pack of Snickers. 3202 Northeast, Buena Vista, East Tampa. What am I, Uber? I mean, you're first and now you think I'm Uber. What do you want from me, guys? I'm hosting the show. I got 4 people on, and guess what? It's going to be 5 because here comes the dude right now. Dude, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. How you doing?
Greetings and saturations, guys. How are we doing out there in Bucs Report land?
Absolutely great.
My gosh, the dude.
Hey, real quick, Rick Brown. I hear Peter introducing you as the man with more buzz than the Charlotte Hornets, but I think we need to change that to the man with a better buzz than the dude.
No, man, you are the man, dude. So no, I can't take that away from you.
Hey, I want to shout out to both of you, Rick and Peter, for towing the line. Joshua kills these interviews with the people. Make sure you check out the YouTube channel. We're going to put the link here in the comment section. It also will appear in the page's story. Now, I have to look over at my favorite Twitter guy, Troll King of the Pittsburgh Steelers media, Troll King of the Baltimore Ravens media. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, degeneration. Oh, wait, that was wrestling. Nick Citro can single-handedly, without raising his voice, without typing in all caps, without yelling or screaming, bring the entire Pittsburgh media to its knees. Okay? Look at Nick Citro and realize he looks like a nice guy. He's got a good smile, a great voice, but he's a freaking killer. Now, Peter H. Blake. Yeah. I'm gonna go one by one and stroke you guys' egos. Peter. It stands to reason that the captain of the Sports Web is sitting in a big, beautiful, comfortable chair with massage feature. So, everybody, while you're watching Peter host the show in his new chair, realize when you see that little devilish, boyish grin on your face, that means he's turned on the massage function, in the lower parts of the chair. Joshua Allen, quite possibly one of the biggest up-and-coming guys at Bucs Report. I mean, if Joshua's not interviewing players, he's tracking down advertisers. He's he's harassing me to say, how come Peter only goes live 3 days a week? It should be 7. Also, dude is already co-hosting Thursday Night Live with Charles Richardson. The guy's been crushing it. And now I have to single out my man, Rick. Let me tell you guys something right here, okay? Rick has been pulling chicken salad out of chicken shit covering the Bucs for I don't know how many years, Rick?
A long time.
Okay. This guy has written about this poor guy, Rick, has had to pull out content covering arguably some of the worst NFL teams in the history of the game. Okay. And he's done it at the highest level that I can imagine. When a certain gentleman who's part of Bucs Report, Pat, tells us, hey, Rick Brown is the genuine article. He's the real deal. I was like, oh, okay, let me go check him out. And then it dawned on me, Rick, I've been reading your stuff in the Ledger for a minute. So when I realized Rick Brown's going to come hang out with the guys at Bucs Report, first of all, I poured myself a nice adult beverage. And we welcome them with open arms. With everybody, the comment section, and all those who are sharing the show, realize right now we're here doing what we do best, doing what each one of those 4 guys you see on the screen love to do. And we're doing it because we know it's a crazy world out there right now. And some of us want to have a break from that. And this is your escape, the Sports Web on Bucs Report. Now, I know you guys were in like a big heated argument. I could tell because Peter's eyebrows were a little closer together than usual. So I don't want to break up the flow too much, but I had to call in and be like, and just tell all 4 of you and all the other guys out there at Bucs Report, Blake, Ray, oh gosh, I'm going to forget names. Old Salty Buck,
Leo Haggerty,
Tanner Suarez,
Wow.
Alex freaking
Anthony.
flame-throwing Fleming.
yes.
Oh,
All
that's
the
a
guys.
good one.
If I haven't named your name, it's because, I've had a couple beverages. But what we're doing here is head and shoulders better, different, and more innovative than all the other people who are just walking through the motions. With that said, we got a lot of big shows lined up for next week. A couple pretty decent named guests. We're not going to spoil the surprise, but I will tell you this. Okay? This is Bucs Report. We report the news. We don't make the news. We don't craft the news. We give you opinion. We give you analysis. But most of all, what we give you is a place to come where you don't have to deal with the bullshit. Yeah, I just said shit, but it's after 11 o'clock, so, prime time rules.
Yeah, we're good.
I want to point out, man, Peter,
Yeah.
dude, we love you, brother. Joshua, I'd say I love you, but, I don't know you that well yet. I've never hugged you. Rick, every time I've gotten to see you, bro, nothing but a smile to my face, man. You always bring it. Nick is the pole master. Nick can put up. I know that didn't sound right, but Nick
Is
can
that
put
something
up.
I want to be?
Well, dude, hey, Nick is the only guy I know that can put a poll up on Twitter, and the entire fan base is ready to cannibalize itself because of it. Meanwhile, Nick's over here like, what, me worry? All I did was put up a poll. So if you're not following us on Twitter, Bucs_report, go follow it. Nick and everybody here at Bucs Report appreciates everything you guys have done, all the time you spent following us, watching our shows, sharing our content. Just realize this is the beginning of quite possibly the biggest season in Buccaneer franchise history. We have the greatest of all time at quarterback. We have arguably one of the top 5, if not greatest of all times, tight end. We have a defensive front 7 that I don't know would make any quarterback in the league have nightmares the night before. And we're going to be here from the time that toe meets leather until they turn the lights off at the stadium and make us go home. We will not be shunned. We will not be silent. We are here to explain to you what's going on, how we see it. With that said, everybody, I see a lot of hate out there in the news feeds on social media, and I get it. We're in a weird, awful, backward situation right now. But take time. Take time when you're out amongst people to listen to what other people are saying to you. Take time to call or contact the people you know and love and tell them so. And when you hear someone complaining about something, don't just stand there and stare at them so you can wait for them to shut up and respond. Listen to what they're saying. They're not complaining about nothing. They're complaining about something that hurts them or has touched their heart. That said, that's the extent of the dude's political statement today. What I will say is, hey, man, we are like, 100 days or less from the kickoff of the NFL season. As you see, the dude is donning the anonymous mask. You're probably asking yourself why. Well, because the dude, although he does abide, he does like to remain anonymous, at least to all the other idiots that already know who this is. And I'm sure you guys figured it out. But Joshua, great job today on the phone conversation. I appreciate everything you did. You know what I'm talking about. Nick Sitro, bro, we've never met. We've never got to meet up in person, but we're going to figure out a way to get you down here to hang out with the boys. And Rick, I can't not go back to Rick. Rick, bro, the Charlotte Hornets, more buzz. The dude would like to challenge you on the greater buzz. So let me know when you're ready for that, bro. And we'll come down to Tampa and take care of it.
I'll come up to Tallahassee to you. How's that?
Hey, man, come up to Tallahassee, man. I got nothing but good stuff up here. Now, listen, man. Listen, guys. Shout out to Pat Yasinkas, Al Keck, Leo Haggerty, all the people who are standing there with us, beside us and behind us as we move forward to do something that the other outlets aren't doing. And that's to bring you the best coverage, top to bottom, from the window to the wall. And I'll let you finish that. Now, the dude is going to go ahead and pour himself another drink because, man, there's a lot of thirsty people in the news feed, and I've been quenching their thirst all day. Keep kicking ass, guys. You still got 19 minutes before you hit 3 hours, Mr. Peter. So I'm looking at Josh's face. I'm looking at Rick's face and all your faces, even Nick's. I don't know, man. I'm going to send you over some Starbucks coffee, Peter. Let's make it 4 hours. Brother.
I'll need to pour myself a drink for that.
Yeah, 4 hours. I don't know if we can do 4 hours. We're trying to get 3. We'll try to get most.
Let's just go all night. Might as well.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
24/7? Who's Saturday?
We'll just never leave.
Hey,
we'll take turns sleeping on camera. We'll be fine.
The day before the Bucs' first game, we ought to have a marathon.
Yeah.
Maybe not the day before, the Friday before, the Friday night, and let's
get on everybody.
A marathon. Let's just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree with that.
Telecast a big Zoom. We'll have everybody from the Bucs report on there.
Yeah, absolutely. We could do that. We could figure this out. We could definitely figure out how we could make this happen. All right. Let me read these comments. I messed up there. Let's see. Okay.
Master.
Tony, there we go. Peter, you live under a rock, you guys. Josh Allen Cole is trash. What the heck is that all about?
He's a hating friend of mine. He's just a hater. This is the same kid who would take his profile picture and change it to the Houston Texans or the Kansas City Chiefs for betting purposes and talk shit about the Patriots all year long because of Tom Brady. And he's coming here and talk shit as well. He's just a hater. Sip some more haterade, Jared. You're trash.
So basically, he's Ben Cornett's brother. Ben Cornett says, A1 or a Philly cheesesteak, Peter? Sounds more like a St. Petersburg cheesesteak. Hey, I like St. Petersburg cheesesteak. Bucs go 9-7 at best. Oh my goodness!
Get out of here.
Thank you. Let's see. Look who's drinking. Rick, it's LeBron. Dan Fouts was a great quarterback. Freaking Jordan. LeBron does more than Jordan. Oh, here we go. Best virtual edits video.
You started it.
On and off the court. I believe I heard Jordan, didn't he donate like $100 million today?
$100 million to the Black Lives Matter movement.
He won't show up for another 2 weeks now, says Pat. Peter with his lobby threats. John, okay, the kids need to go to the kiddie table now.
Hey.
Kids never watched MJ play. Agree. Jordan came in at the end of the greatest era. Best virtual edits video. Peter, where is Jordan from? Still waiting. Where's Jordan from? His mother. I wonder why you don't know. What do you mean why I don't know? Where is Jordan from? North Carolina. Of course I know.
Come on and raise up. Take your shirt off.
Oh, jeez. LeBron would body Jordan. Really? Body Jordan? Oh, okay. Bron would have had a different mindset back then. So that take is not relevant. Imagine today versus the bad boys. MJ is better. LeBron is a physical freak.
I'll agree with that.
And Dan Marino had one of the strongest arms and quickest releases. He just never had the defense to win. Still in the top 5. Also never had the running game. Best virtual edits video guy.
Would have been up there if he won a championship.
That's true. Jameis is garbage, says Justin. Dylan says 1-1 will forever haunt Bucs Twitter if he wins somewhere else.
So I gotta interject here because I'm obviously new. I don't know. I've heard his name mentioned a bunch of times. What's the story with Jameis 1-1? I need some background on this because I don't know.
How much time do you have?
Well, we're going 4 hours, right? So bring it up.
Nick, do you want to go or should I go? He is the author of the Jameis Winston Derangement Syndrome, the start of a Hall of Fame career. Very knowledgeable guy. We've had him on here. Very good guest. I'll get him on here again if he wants to talk Jameis and Bucs or whatever else. But he is a big-time Winston defender. And I tell you right now, if you debate with him, Nick knows all too well, he's definitely going to stat you to death. And he most likely wins a lot of debates. And he'll troll you.
He is I think the MVP pot stirrer of Twitter.
Yeah.
But when you actually talk to him, in person, he's, I don't know, pretty rational, I feel like. It's just, I don't know, on Twitter, he likes to get heated, but he's anonymous. I don't know who, nobody knows who he is, just an anonymous Twitter source who wrote the book. And I don't know.
He's always been good to me. He's never, he's never been a troll to me or jerk to me. He's never been a troll to Bucs Report. We respect him here. We don't have any problem with him. And like I said, we'll get him back on. We'll always get guests on here. We always try to bring different perspectives on the sports web. It's always been like that. It's been like that ever since we've been on the TV side. It's been like that on the radio side. It has been. Rick knows because he's been a part of those shows. They've been crazy. Win somewhere else. I was happy for Trent then. Ben, I see you somewhere. 12-4 says Brody. Good stuff, Brody. Okay. Here we go. Ben says, stop that, Dilfer, Peter. All Dilfer had to do with the Ravens is just show up, hand the ball off to Priest Holmes and Jamal Lewis. That's it. If Dilfer had to throw the ball there, it would usually be when he was warming up on the sidelines. He did make some throws in that Super Bowl. He did make some throws during that run. Don't act like he didn't. Was he, Joe Flacco type in the postseason for the Ravens? No. Was he a DLG quarterback? Absolutely. Don't lose the game quarterback. So Kenny says, can't wait to see Brady change the snap count. So tired of hearing Sunday set hut. We read that. To Jameis's credit, he did have a solid no huddle 2-minute situations, but we were always the worst team when it came to snap counts. I get the depth issue, but at linebacking spot, seriously, that is the Bucs' biggest strength is depth. Ben Cornett says, who's more drunker than on the sports web? Best virtual edits video or that Jeremiah fellow who calls me every once in a while?
Jeremiah. Where is he?
I love me some Jeremiah. He calls him South Dakota, and he'll just sit on there and laugh. He'll just, what do you want to talk about? I just wanted to call
Eric Berry. Where's Eric Berry at?
Where's Eric Berry going? Eric Berry has not been signed yet. I don't think he's going to be signed by the Bucs, but for Jeremiah out there being the #1 Eric Berry fan, I hope he signs with somebody so you can call the show and say that you were right, that he did sign with an NFL team. Let's talk about those two stud linebackers. I got 35 touchdowns, says Alex Fleming. Over easy. No over easy. It's got to be lightly scrambled with cheese and bacon. That's it. I've spoken. That's my boy, Josh. 28-3, says Keith. Sorry, Nick. TB12 throws 31 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, says Adam. You guys are great. I missed the one with everyone. How do I watch older videos on YouTube? Yes, on YouTube and also on Facebook. They are all there. Thanks a lot. YY ball player. Appreciate you. The dude always has a buzz on. Ben Cornett. I think the dude just knighted Nick Sitro into dude status. Johnny Dean says, only outsiders don't know Mr. Rick Brown. Absolutely. I agree with that. Where's Alex at tonight?
Lurking in the comments.
Master, laugh out loud. Master. The dude abides. He absolutely does. Let's read some more comments, and then we will get you guys out of here. Joshua Cole Allen, all hail the pole master.
Oh my God.
Pole master. That's just,
I mean, that's better than other nicknames, I suppose.
I still like.
You
Could be a lot worse.
You could be the pole getter.
That's
So yeah, be happy with that.
Oh, geez. That's just the dude's adult beverage face right there. To the window, to the wall. Yeah, we all know that. Here's the thing. Here's what's different about hip hop today and hip hop from the old school hip hop. Nobody knows any music from today. I asked a friend the other day. I said, "You still like hip hop?" He says, "Yes." I said, "Okay, who do you like?" "I don't know." "Okay, what song do you like?" "The song on the radio." "What song?" When it seems like they're crying or they're blabbering on. What are you listening to? He doesn't know. That's the difference. We still know songs from the old school. We don't know anything from today. Would you agree with that, Rick? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, totally. I mean, some of the beats are okay from this era. I'd never want to be that guy who says that my music was better than your music, but my music was better.
I'm just glad we're starting to get away from mumble rap and real lyrics you can understand. Definitely agree with the beats. If the artists had some of the beats they have today, the fire they could have put out, man. But yeah, they'll never top our generation, your generation. Sorry, Nick.
You got the people going. I feel like they're like crying or something. They got that auto tune going. They're like, I'm like, what?
Oh my God!
Turn this off. I don't want to hear it. I'd rather hear, cats do it, and John do it. Careful, I've got a beverage here. Best virtual edits video. Nah, get Jameis 101. I will win the debate. Get him on here. I keep it professional. We may do that. We may have the fans debate him sometime. He's talked about that. We would probably be the only show that could do that. We could have phone callers in. You guys have a debate, but it would have to be respectful. You can't be personal, calling people names and all of that other garbage. That's for the other show down the block. There is no other show down the block. Sorry. There was a conspiracy that he was Jason Light, but clearly he's not. There you go. Ben Cornett. Here's the best accurate description of Jameis 101. He's a spokesperson for Winston.
No phone calls tonight. It's kind of weird.
Yes, it is. I don't know why the phone is not ringing off the hook. I think they like us. I think they like listening to us instead of listening to themselves, like Jeremiah.
Alex is going to be pissed.
Ben is a Raiders fan. Ben, just stop, my guy. Best virtual edits. Ben, you want to be a Bucs fan so bad. Johnny Dean throwing up the flags. Best virtual edits video. Peter, you just can't relate, but everyone can relate to back in the day, though. 100. Rick, provocative. It gets the people going. And Ben Cornett says, I think we need Peter reads a rap episode on the sports web. We'll give Peter lyrics to rap to with the background beat playing in the back, and it has to be late 90s dirty lyric rap songs. That we actually got in trouble for that. Real quick story on the sports web. Wanted to play some 2 Live Crew, thought it was censored at the radio station. It was not censored at all. And you know what I'm talking about. Me, okay. Me so horny.
Oh my God.
So I heard from the call. It was not somebody calling in to tell me. It was my boss saying, you can never play that song again or you're off the air. I said, okay, hung up the phone and shut down the music. But that happens sometimes. That's what live radio live television brings you. We're not going to play that music here.
What was the song?
Me So Horny.
Oh, Me So Horny. Oh, ooh.
I was going, and I did it on purpose because, Sean wanted to talk about Miami at the time, and I think it was when those guys went down on the boat
ride.
Yes, on the boat ride. So I had to play it. I was like, I can't play this. And I heard the words. I was like, I can't. Yeah, we can't play that.
What do you get for $10? $10. Anything you want.
All right, let's go out to the lobby here. We got somebody that wants to interject. Mumble Rap Nation. Go ahead. Little Yachty, which, by the way, Madden decided to not improve their gameplay, but of course put egos and Little Yachty in that. How do I know that? I have no idea. Go ahead, Little Yachty.
I don't own a yacht, but I got a boat. And let me just tell you, I want to go ahead while we got everybody here, and let's do our favorite mumble rap top 5. I don't have a top 5. I don't even have one, but I'm going to take a shot at this. Ready? Tell me if you know what song this is. Ready? Panda, 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 panda.
That would be Designer.
I will tell you the best rapper alive.
Horrible.
Dylan, and Dylan. Because he spits hot fire.
I want to point out something here. I don't profess to be an expert at hip hop or rap or anything. I realize it's supposed to rhyme, but I'm pretty sure the words aren't supposed to be exactly the same. Panda, 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 panda. That said, I'm going to pour myself a cup of dessert and continue watching the show. But let me just say, Mumble Rap Nation stands up and stands proud. We don't know, you don't know what the hell we're saying, but we're proud. So don't disrespect Mumble Rap, or I'm going to stick the panda, 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 panda on you.
I got bras in Atlanta.
I haven't heard that song in so long.
What happened? What happened to Designer?
Oh my gosh!
Wasn't
What happened to a lot of these guys?
Wasn't that Buster?
There's more one-hit wonders in hip hop now than ever before.
Oh goodness gracious!
They have that killer beat, words you can't understand, and then that's it. They're gone.
He said top 5 mumble raps. Yes, best virtual. I am an alumnus of Florida A&M University. Yes.
All right, good stuff.
And my wife is from Florida A&M, and my son attends Florida A&M, and I have another son that graduated from Florida A&M.
And his dog was a mascot, so it's all in the family.
We're diehard Rattlers here, and if I had a dog, he would have gone to Florida A&M too.
Oh, Peter froze.
Peter's frozen.
Juice WRLD, wow.
Thanks, Ben. We appreciate it. Thanks for trolling.
That's a great. Yeah, we're here. Let's see here. Best show in a while. Not that the others were bad, but this show is booming. Ben Cornett, Little Yachty, a lot more head than a lot more body. Have all you been drinking? No, we have not. We're natural.
No. I am just naturally stupid.
Never know what's in this cup. Never know.
It's not that purple drink that was in the cup from Marcus Russell, right?
That scissor, I keep it.
Sipping on some scissor. Sip.
3 days. I mean, not 3 days grace. 3-6 Mafia.
I like my Sprite Easter pink, so what can I say?
Juice WRLD. That song didn't even make sense, but it's catchy. What class? Where is Alex swimming tonight? I have no idea.
I tell you what, he's gonna be pissed that we didn't get any calls tonight with his notebook full of notes that he tries to get through every show.
1990 best virtual. 1990.
There you go. And show tonight, guys. We got Vanilla Ice, and then we're gonna end this show. Vanilla Ice, what do you got to say?
Yo, what's cracking? What's cracking? Vanilla Ice coming here from the bottom down in Miami-Dade County represent. Hey, I heard you dogging mumble rap, and I realized the greatest rapper in the world Vanilla Ice had to check the hook while his DJ revolved it and chime in. Yeah, I don't know what the hell you write a rap about a Panda for. You got to write a rap about a Mustang 5.0. You got to write a rap about A1A. Teach what Avenue. You got to do it that way, bro. Rap today is nothing but a bunch of guys jacked up on Vic's Formula 44 trying to make a coherent sentence. Now, with that said, play me out. Play that funky music,
go, ninja,
white boy.
Go, ninja, go. Go, ninja, go, ninja, go.
Oh, he is bro. Hey,
Alex is trying to call in. It says it's a busy signal.
Is it? All right. Let me just see if we can try to get this going here. Hold on a second. Let's see. We'll turn it off and then turn it on. Sign out. And then hold on. All right. Let's see here.
No, see, their beat goes ding 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 ding, but mine goes ding 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 ding. That makes it different. I'm not copywriting their song at all.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. Let's see. This is better than going out. Appreciate it, Christopher. When it comes to one,
you can't go out anyways till tomorrow, right? Bars open up tomorrow.
Vega comes to mind. Mumbo number 5. Can't call busy signal and stop collaborating. Listen, the dude is talking. He ain't tripping. Very nice. Very nice. Who doesn't like
good
regulate? I mean, does everybody know the word regulate? Warren G and Nate Dogg.
Nate, Warren G is gonna regulate.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, Sitro.
All right. Thank you for the great show tonight. Peter H. Blake, Joshua Cole, Allen, Nick Sitro, and the man Rick Brown. You guys definitely brought the entertainment. So with that being said, let's get you guys out of here. Joshua Cole, Allen, go ahead and promote yourself and promote what you're working on next.
Okay, so my Twitter handle is at Joshua_C_Allen. Follow me there. I retweet a lot of the Bucs news, Bucs report, Sitro, a lot of different things that are going on. So if you miss anything, you can always catch it there. I'll have another interview on Wednesday, this time with a former New England Patriots cornerback, Keon Crossan. I'll drop his name right now because it's late enough. I don't think people are watching, but we'll promote that on Monday.
Josh,
we'll kind of get that.
Stick around. We got somebody. We got a special guest here, Mr. Alex Fleming of Fantasy and Flavors. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What do you got to say, my friend?
I entered the room with the bang and the boom. Tomb in the heat fumes. It's hot like June. I don't mumble rap. I don't do it.
Nice, Alex Fleming. Very good. Good stuff. So, yeah, no mumble rap, man. No mumble rap at all.
You know what? I'm feeling froggy tonight. What is it? A Friday night? Feeling good. I actually have a Bucs rap that I'm going to throw on you guys right now with Alex in here.
You have this prepared already?
I've written it down. There's a guy in the group called Miguel Medor, and he tries so hard to rap. And I'm like, man, I bet I could write a rap better than that, not even trying. So I did, and that's what I did. I don't have a beat for it yet, but here we go. We're going to do it.
Okay.
Cannons firing, right? The cannons fire. And then you go, this is our year, putting all y'all the teams on notice. Get out of our way, or we'll have to fire on you. Another cannons fire. Then it goes, you're out of luck, because here comes the Bucs. The sound of the cannon means your time is up. We're going to see today because enough is enough. We're going to ball out till we lift the trophy up. New year, new team, TB12 in the scene. Swinging the rock, thread the Gronk straight down the seam. Got it in the slot. It's impossible to stop. With Evans on the outside, the boys got hops. We the Bucs. We taking over. I'll kill the team's listen over your shoulder. We the Bucs. It's our time to shine. Ain't never gonna stop. We on the ground. We the Bucs. And our team is loud of putting fear in the league till they fold and cower. We the Bucs. And we winning it all. The ship is in our back. Yeah, in the years at odds. You can try as you might, morning, noon, and night. But these Pirates ain't going down without a fight. Raise the flags. We the team you wish you had. Have you seen those new unis? Man, the feud is bad. This is our year. You ain't stealing a mojo. Run it down your throat with that boy named Rojo. Up and down the field like you want to yo-yo. Drive your coach insane and make a D go loco. We the Bucs. And we taking over. All these other teams must look over your shoulder. We the Bucs. It's our time to shine. Ain't never gonna stop. We on the ground. We the Bucs. And our team is loud of putting fear in the team till they fold and cower. We the Bucs. And we winning it all. The ship is in the backyard, and this year's its sides on the D. South with my boy JPP, sitting beat it in the middle, straight clogging the scene. And David is so underrated that you just can't believe we got White as a rookie. He's a straight up beast. My dude Shaq is on the point of attack. Bully straight through your line and deliver the sack. Young gun, step it up, talking all that smack. Murphy Davis, and Winnie gonna show up the back. We the Bucs, and we taking over. All you other teams over your shoulder. We the Bucs. It's our time to shine. Ain't never gonna stop. We on the ground. We the Bucs. My team is loud of putting fear in the league till they fold and cover. We the Bucs. We winning it all. The ship is in the backyard, and this year's its size.
Yeah,
this is our year. Let's believe we bringing our fire.
We need a beat to the background.
Stand. Let's go.
Hey, guys, real talk. With the knowledge and styles, I make your jaw drop. I overprice my product just like a cop shop. I make a fat bitch belly flop after I show her the size of my lollipop. I'm trying to tell you guys, with the Bucs, we'll shake up your team, make your ass retired like your Andrew Luck.
We have just a casual rap battle here on the sports web.
That we just did.
Wow.
I'm a hip hop DJ, so this feels like home for me, honestly. I mean, not only doing the sports talk show, but having guys rap battle. This is always fun. Alex Fleming, anything else?
No, I'm just glad the NBA's coming back. People are getting exposed. Bro, Facebook and Twitter is on fire. I'm telling you, people who are ignorant are mad as hell, and I kind of like it. I sit on the sidelines and I just watch it. I'm thankful that you have an outlet so that way all that negativity and garbage is to the side. We could just chill till the next episode, talk about some football. Do what we do. Nice to see you, Nick. Where the hell you been?
Yeah, no.
Listen.
Where you been, Nick?
It's been a week, guys. Come on.
It feels like eternity. We saw you on another podcast. Are you cheating on us?
Yeah.
He cheating.
Damn.
Listen, no one's supposed to know about
glasses?
that.
What do you get the LASIK too? Looking all good for the other podcast. Not coming around the evolution.
I got the V-neck shirt on.
Damn.
Let's go.
I actually have a question for Ron over here. I don't know about those black comments. I'll let that go. Bro, your front four on the defensive line, I see them having more sacks and creating havoc. Not this year. Hell no, not this year. But, bro, I see them swarming like San Fran. How's Washington looking right now?
Yeah.
Rick, he was talking to you.
I'm sorry. I was trying to grab Encore. What you say now? I'm sorry.
Rick.
All right. Chase Young, Jonathan Allen, Kerrigan, and all them boys in Washington. Montez Sweat, absolutely. Who's faster than a lot of the damn running backs. He ran faster than Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey. But this ain't my time. This is your show, Pete. With that being said, that front four, over under on sacks, 32.
No, just because of who they are, where they play, I think they have the potential to be very good. I don't think they get 30, though.
Not 30, okay. All right, let's go ahead and make this a six-way. Let's go out to the dude with a clock. That would be Flavor. Welcome to the sports.
Hey, hold on 1 minute. Bridget, shut the hell up. Okay. Here we go, man. Here we go. I don't have a rap because I can't top Josh. I like Nick without glasses. Alex Fleming, the flamethrowing Alex Fleming. But let me just say this. I know Rick will pick up on this because he's old school. I'm pretty sure Alex will pick up on this. Peter might even pick up on this. But please finish this for me, right? I said a hip hop, a hibbit to the hibbit. Go ahead, Alex.
Rocking to the bang bang boogie. Said up jumps the boogie to the rhythm of the boogity bird.
Now, what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the crew, and my friends are going to try to move your feet. You see, I am Slick Rick, and I like to say hello. To the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. But first, I got bang bang.
Boogie to the
Hey.
middle.
You don't
Hey,
stop.
that-
I'm sorry. I have background here.
Hey, hey,
That's it.
I felt as a representation of Flavo Flav, I had to call in and at least get some good rap on here before we got off the air. No offense, Joshua. Hey, Joshua, we gonna put you on YouTube channel, man. We got to get you dressed up, and we're gonna have the Joshua Allen Hour of Flow.
There you go.
What do you think?
The flow.
I don't know if I got an hour's worth of material. It took me a couple days.
You just need a beat.
Yeah, someone find me a beat. I'll lay that down. We can use that as an opening.
I just want to point out, earlier a caller said that we need to make sure Peter goes at least 3 hours tonight. So mission accomplished.
Caller.
And,
wonder who that caller was.
It's a split personality. It's a split decision here. Hey, I just want to say, we're dogging the mumble rappers. We dog these guys. We dog that guy. But let's be honest here, man. As Joshua will tell you, you can get in front of the camera and start spitting lines out, spitting bars. That's half the battle, man. So the mumble rappers, while we all think you're horrible, terrible. Keep doing you, man, because people are listening to it, obviously. But that said, hey, if we can go back to like circa 1977 to about 1990 in the rap industry and the kind of rap that was putting out, I think everybody would agree we'd all be in a better place.
I agree.
I'd pump up that 1990 a little bit.
People
but yeah,
were
I agree.
alive in the 70s? I didn't even realize that.
Hey,
Nick was
Nick,
born in the
hey,
90s.
Nick. hey, Nick, just because you ain't wearing glasses don't mean I won't smack you.
Nick was born in 1995.
Come over here and do
I was
it.
watching Toy Story in the movie theater when he was born.
Hey, great show tonight. Hey, I just want to point out real quick, Alex Fleming. First of all, Alex Fleming, quite possibly the biggest pythons in all of Buccaneer media. Dude, I'm looking at your arms going, what the hell is Alex's thighs doing on the screen? But that said, check this out, man. We just went 6 video feeds without interruption, without a glitch, and we did it with the smooth stylings of Joshua Allen, Rick Brown, Alex Fleming, and Nick Sitro. But you know who we haven't heard rap?
Oh,
that would be Peter H. Blake.
Ooh,
so
Pete.
Pete. I know you a gangster rapper, man. So let him sag and start spitting. I ain't getting off the phone, and the show ain't over till you do it.
I'm twinking into a whole new era. G-Funk, step to this, I dare ya. Funk on a whole new and beat as the treble
You
chords.
gotta have original
Bring.
flow, bro.
We
You gotta
bring.
hit the concrete almost
Melody.
like you know. This is Pete.
G-Funk.
Up on the concrete, up on your screen and on the big screen. Come on now.
we the
This is
Bucs.
what you gotta
We
represent.
taking over.
We need a beat. Someone play a non-copyrighted beat.
If you know like I know, you don't want to step today.
What?
Oh, it's this chaos.
213 will regulate.
He's still going. Go.
What is that? A cigar?
Regulate. All right.
You can't smoke in the house. We'll get in trouble. You know that.
Hey, since we on that topic, Pete,
yes.
do you do the Night Owls, the Phillies, the Dutchess, or the Maduros?
I don't do it.
This is actually.
I mean, I don't do anything, but I know people like to use Dutchess.
Oh no! When I say smoke out, I mean this little. This is the edge, but
The little green
it's
plant.
part of my humidor, so I don't know.
Nice. This has been
The devil's lettuce.
Terrible.
Super Troopers. Meow.
I'd like to say herbal essence.
How about that one, Alex?
Oh, no, that's nice. That's a Churchill, isn't it?
Oh, there you go. We'll get some Cubanos for the cookout we have.
Oh, did you say Cubanos?
Yeah, we'll get some cubes for the. Oh, there we go. Some Cohibas.
All right, let's.
No, the bar is lifted. We can get them now, can't we?
Yeah, but then they're not valuable anymore because everyone can get them, so it doesn't matter.
But they still taste great, and whatever.
Let's read.
Shut up, Nick.
Let's go. Let's see our best virtual edit video with Peter. Great show. Yeah, great stuff. Alex, he's laughing. Holy stuff. The final includes Alex Fleming. Just gets better. Flaming Alex Fleming. Okay. Joshua got a little flow. Laugh out loud. Taylor Allen. No.
Sorry, babe.
But hey, man, he brought it. He definitely, his flow was really good. There's nothing more hilarious than watching Joshua Cole Allen rapping. Well, maybe Cole Master.
Cole Master.
Bringing the cannons.
Did you hear me, Josh? I was cannoning you, man. It was.
I saw. I just gotta say, Alex looks like a Jack Stanley Hudson right now. Watch The Office.
I like your rap better than I like the guy who had the beat Panda. I'm just gonna say I liked your rap better.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, you got broads in Atlanta?
Huh? Yeah.
You got broads in Atlanta?
Absolutely.
No.
Sure you do.
There's no broads in Atlanta, babe.
Rap battle. Ben Cornett, the sixth way in the history of the sports web. Taylor Allen O snap. It's getting real now. It absolutely is getting real. It's been real. This is the greatest ever. Peter H. Blake told me he can go 6 hours with his new chair. Goodness gracious. Nick, why would he say that? Bucs roast. Oh, that's good. I like that, Taylor Allen. Let's go. Drop it. I will be saving this show to watch it over and over again because this is one of the best shows. Thank you very much. And Alex, I need my wings. And Taylor Allen is looking at you, Joshua Cole Allen. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this puppy up. Joshua Cole Allen, go ahead once again, promote yourself, and we'll get you off.
At Joshua_C_Allen is my Twitter handle. Like I said, I'll have an interview with former Patriots, current Texans cornerback Keon Crossan about his time with Brady and Gronk in New England and how that might carry over to Tampa Bay, about what he kind of saw when he came and played in Tampa Bay last year with the Houston Texans, a couple different things like that. Still working on some articles I should be pumping out within the next couple days. And then I've got another couple interviews in the works. A couple of other guys on the Buccaneers, hoping one big guy. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm in contact with his agent. That would be really, he'd be really big guy, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
So it would be a really great interview. Other than that, just follow me on Twitter. Follow the Bucs Report. Thank all of you for coming out and supporting us again tonight. And we'll see you next time. See you Monday.
There we go. Joshua Cole Allen out. We got Rick Brown and more buzz in the Charlotte Hornets. We got to come up with another team. I like that, Nick. Rick Brown, go ahead and promote yourself.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Pete.
Absolutely.
It's always great being on with you guys. You guys are the future of this industry, and I appreciate you guys letting me Tom Brady with you guys. So on that note, follow me at Rick Brown 91 on Twitter. Rick Brown 91 on Twitter. If you talk to me, I'll talk to you back. I've been going through some. It's been a rough 2 weeks for me. Even though I had a birthday and an anniversary, society has kind of gone a little crazy. So I've been kind of quiet on social media the last couple of weeks. But if you talk to me, I'll talk to you back. But if you piss me off, I'll slap you back. So that's the way it goes. But follow me there. Thanks for having me on, Pete, as always. And guys, keep doing what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Keep doing it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Rick Brown. Mr. Buzz himself. He's out. We got Nick Sitro, our analyst for Bucs Report. Go ahead and promote yourself, sir.
Twitter handle right on the screen as usual. Brackets are back. I've got a bracket out, best season in Bucs history, and then I'll have another one out on the Bucs Report handle. I'm going to do that a little bit later. So go to my Twitter handle, vote if you want. You can talk about who you thought was better, argue all you want. I'm probably not going to respond this time. In terms of articles, I've got some things I'm thinking about writing. I'm not going to reveal it yet. I got to keep it a secret. Got to build some hype. You know what I mean? But thanks for having me on, Peter. As usual, always fun. I think this might have been the best ending of any show we've ever had. A little rap battle at the end.
I agree.
I mean, can't get much better than that. So
you can't. You really can't. Nick Sitro, Nitro, and Nick Sitro, thanks a lot for joining us here on the Evolution. All right.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Alex Fleming, my buddy. What's going on? Go ahead and promote yourself.
All right. Well, let me just say this. You better make way because we're coming through. We're coming through your line like Ndamukong Suh. It's coming hitting hard, almost like Ray J. We're going to do it with Carlton Davis and Vita Vey. That's right. What you going to do? Nothing, because we got bluffing, muffing, and stuffing. We're hitting you hard. Yeah, that's right. Hitting you across the head like with Devin White. You can't stop us because the night beckons. You can't stop Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. We roll up in the dojo, and you really don't know about Rojo. It's Raymond James. It's still the same. Bucs 2020. We ain't playing games.
Love it. Alex Fleming of Fantasy and Flavors. Go and follow him, ALXFLMNG on Twitter. Thanks a lot for coming on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Great show there. Let's go ahead and read some more comments because I didn't get a chance to read, but I want to make sure I read everybody's. Alan Curtis Jr., this was earlier. Leo, how much weight have you lost during the lockdown? The Guru looks great. This is great radio. What's up, Buck Nation? Michael Scott says, we are the real boys of the South of 2020. Peter Blake, you know it, and I know it, and everybody else knows it. If they want to face reality or not, this Buccaneer team is going to take advantage of the New Orleans Saints problem with Drew Brees. I even thought before the issue, but now I'm even more optimistic. What do you think? For these guys who are saying LeBron is better than Michael Jordan, how can you say LeBron is better than Michael Jordan when LeBron is not better than Kobe Bryant? Laugh out loud. Michael Scott, hey, Peter, I know you guys say there's a lot of questions for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, but I think there's a lot of questions for everyone. Let's see, everyone in these NFL teams just because of the pandemic, everything else that's going on, including the protesting stuff. I get what you're saying. I think the whole NFL, to me, every team has got questions because of how the season's going to go and what the season is going to be. Editing computer, the first, you guys say there's a lot of questions for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, but I think there's a lot of questions for everybody, what he's trying to say. I actually think the teams that hurts the most, the teams that drafted rookie quarterback at the starting quarterback, like the Cincinnati Bengals, could be bad already. Sitton says, yes, sir, go Bucs. Also, Peter, I do believe, and I don't believe Michael Scott says the Buccaneers will be as bad as position as some people think they will be on because of Tom Brady not knowing the Buccaneers system and saying that him and Rob Gronkowski would have to get set and learn the system right by at the same time. I think they are two icons, smart players that really won't take them so long because they know what it's like to win and they've been there before. They're going to teach this team how to win, not how to lose. So that's why I believe this team is better positioned than maybe 50% of the teams in the NFL right now. I don't believe the Buccaneers will be in the position as some people think. All right. And Peter, you're going to have a second half defense. I don't think there's any worries when it comes to this defense this year, to be honest with you. More concern on the offensive line than there's any part of this defense. I think the defense is going to explode. Plus, I know they got Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. So there you go. Good stuff by Michael Scott. Read all your comments here. Read some more. Listen here, guys. I'm blind and I can play the Madden football game. I still don't throw as many interceptions as Jameis Winston in the football game. So that's what he's saying. And absolutely does, Peter. How about Tom Brady? 31 touchdown passes, 21 rushing touchdowns from the running backs, also 10 to 15 touchdowns from the defense. What do you think? A little high. We'll talk about that on Monday. And actually, no, Peter, your phone isn't working. I tried to call in multiple times. And like the song they made for LeBron after LeBron left Cleveland, LeBron James is a B. That song explained everything you want to know about LeBron, even everything else. And then let's go ahead and keep on reading some of these comments. Nothing but love for Rick Brown. Yacht says, hell yes, best ending. Pullmaster rules. Coming soon, Know Your Enemy, hosted by Alex Fleming. Absolutely glad you showed up, Flaming Alex Fleming. And of course, great show tonight, guys. Thanks for having you. Always love having everybody here. Thanks to all the guests, the legend himself, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. Mr. Leo Haggerty was on with us. We had Joshua Cole Allen, of course, newest writer here on Bucs Report. Mr. Rick Brown, more buzz than the Charlotte Hornets. Nitro Nick Sitro, of course, our analyst for Bucs Report, and Alex Fleming of Fantasy and Flavors. Join us on Monday. We'll be back with the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Over 3-hour show of sports talk without all the commercials. Yeah, we talked a little music tonight, but we gave you your Bucs content. Do 3 things for me late on this Saturday morning. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Have a great night. You're now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense.
At Life's a Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach. Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast, Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand. Every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's a Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot more.
Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no-interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
Brady wins with
Tom Brady, welcome to Tampa. Go Bucs!
Realizing my potential has been what my career has been all about. Things that I've dreamed about have actually come true.
The Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Unbelievable.
Things have happened in my life as I kind of hoped they would happen. It's been, just a complete evolution. You know, how I just kept kind of fighting and clawing to continue to power forward. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you keep trying to make progress. So when I look at over 20 years, I look how far I've come. But there's not one step that I took where I realized, look how far I've come. But those series of steps that I put together, I go, wow, that's quite a journey.
My dad had a heart attack at 56 years old. He passed away at 63, and his main problem was high cholesterol. That was the main problem. And I've thought about that. I'd try anything to lower my cholesterol, to stop the chances of having a heart attack.
When I retired, I really had to be conscious about what I put into my body. Interestingly, I was also told I should probably take a statin. And I've always resisted medication like that because it feels unnatural to me. And so when I heard about this product that can naturally lower my cholesterol, lower my risk of heart disease and other types of conditions that come from having high cholesterol, I jumped on it. Has a lot of fiber in this, so it keeps you regular. It makes you feel good. And actually, interesting, it tastes good. You know, sometimes you see these things and you wonder what it's going to taste like. This one actually tastes really good. In fact, my kids even like have.
Here's a sobering reminder. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death for men and women. No wonder staying heart healthy is so very important these days. And we're learning that a few healthy choices can help prevent heart disease. Enter the inventor of Gatorade, Dr. J. Robert Cade. No secret what Cade and Gatorade did for thirst and performance. And Dr. Cade's Cholesterade is so much more than a thirst quencher. Cholesterade is a refreshing, high-fiber natural drink that could dramatically lower cholesterol and reduce the risk of heart disease. In fact, Cholesterade has twice the fiber of any other product on the market today. Independent studies show that 2 daily servings of Cholesterade can stunningly lower bad cholesterol by up to 20%. Dr. Cade knew firsthand the troubles of high cholesterol and adverse side effects of cholesterol-lowering prescription medications, also known as statins. Dr. Cade knew that a daily increase in fiber could lower the levels of cholesterol, so Dr. Cade invented Cholesterade as much for himself as anybody. Cholesterade is a powder that is mixed with water or juice. Cholesterade is all natural, no preservatives, gluten-free, and probiotic with natural flavors. Studies have shown lower cholesterol numbers without the use of prescription medication. Cholesterade helps all people looking to add fiber to their diet. Cholesterade, combined with a healthy diet and exercise, can help you get your cholesterol under control. Entertainer Rod Adams personally knows the benefits of Cholesterade.
Hey, my name is Ron Adams. You may know me as an entertainer from maybe one of my shows, like my eldest show. But I'm also a 55-year-old guy that needs to stay in shape. And I realized that my cholesterol was getting way out of hand. I went to the doctor and he said, you need to do something. But there wasn't anything to do other than maybe get on a statin, which I already knew was dangerous. And then I found out about Cholesterade. Started taking it 3 times a day. 8 weeks later, my cholesterol dropped dramatically from over 300 to under 200. The good cholesterol went from 18 to 36. Cholesterade is what's keeping me healthy.
Independent studies have shown that Cholesterade users have seen their bad cholesterol drop by more than 21%. Triglycerides drop by some 50%. And good cholesterol improve by nearly 13%. Cholesterade supports digestive health. It has 3 great tasting flavors and has become the future in the fight for lowering bad cholesterol. You can find Cholesterade by ordering at www.cholesterade.com. You can find it on Amazon and at major retailers nationwide.